All right, all right. Welcome everybody to Gogotalx, brought to you by GOGOTIX. I am your host Malachi Johns. I'm here with you today with the damn. I was trying to think of something clever, some clever like big intro to give you that was like mildly insulting, but also bigging you up at the same time. But I couldn't think of anything quick enough. So we're
I've
here.
never had one.
with my good friend with his fancy headphones and his fancy shades.
Hey, these my Tony Stark.
The one and only Khari Pratt.
Man.
What'd you say?
I said these my Tony Stark glasses, man.
Your Tony Stark.
Yeah.
The Iron Man joints.
I had to grab them.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Cool. Everybody, what's up? What's up, Mike? What's up, Mousetrap? What's up, Chizu? Everybody that's over on Instagram, make sure you head over to YouTube, which is where you can see Kyrie's ugly face instead of just seeing me. So make sure you head over to youtube.com/GOGOTIX. I just put it in the comments. It's in the title. If you have questions, you can ask them on YouTube or you can text them to 202-410-4843. We are here with my man, Khari Pratt, the owner, founder, and bass player of Northeast Groovers, as well as the bass player of my previous band, Mambo Sauce.
Yes.
Khari, how you feeling today, man? How's Atlanta treating you?
Oh man, Atlanta. I mean, I'm good. I'm in the house. I pretty much stay in the house. I don't go out there, man. It's out there.
Yeah. Same here.
In Atlanta, it's bad. So I'm staying in the house. I'm good.
Well, what do you mean by it's bad? Like,
I mean, well, I'm far out, but downtown Atlanta, man, they Fulton County, DeKalb, all that stuff, they getting hit hard with with COVID. So
I got you. COVID.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I feel.
I go to the backyard, come back in the house.
Yeah, because you've been like remodeling your backyard for like the last 6 months. Every time I call, you'd be like, I just shoveled 17 tons of dirt. I can't talk right now.
Hey man, you know how Shell is, man.
Indeed.
Like, one thing to the next.
Indeed.
We're gonna have a whole new yard in a minute.
That's what's up. Well, so give everybody your background in the music industry. Take as long as you want. I used to tell people like 3 minutes, but then some people, I won't say any names, Nico spent like 45 minutes on their whole story. So, I gotta allow that for everybody. So take as long as you want. Give us your entire history and background of your time in the music industry.
Well, it started when I was 6 years old. No, I'm just joking. So, but I mean, basically, I'm just bass player from Northeast Groovers. I started the band. The reason why I was called Northeast Groovers is because I lived in Northeast, and all of the members at the time were from Northeast.
How old were you when you started the band?
Probably well, I graduated. Now I'm about to tell my age. I graduated 89. I think we started the band 87. I had to be like 15, 16, something like that.
And were you already playing bass before you started the band, or you just learned as you were playing?
I was playing the bass. I hated the bass though, honestly. It was like it kind of got thrown at me. My father brought my brother a drum set and brought me a bass guitar. He knew how to play the lead guitar, bass guitar, and all of that stuff, but he just kind of threw the bass in my hand. I was like, I don't want this.
So Henry was like, "This is what you're gonna do."
Yeah. Here you go. This is yours. That's yours. I used to always want to play the drums, so I used to always be on the drums. That's why I can play a little bit. I can play the drums a little bit, play the congos a little bit, because I want to do something else.
He can't play the drums, y'all. He's sorry.
Hey, y'all remember that show down the Met where we switched up and I was on the drums? Cut it out. I got a nice socket with me.
All right, so my bad. I'll stop interrupting. All right, so you started the band when you were 16,
Yeah,
and
something
you
around like
lived in
that.
the
Yeah.
Northeast, and okay, and then what
And
happened?
yeah, I mean, it was pretty much like I said, it was all my friends. But I mean, I had to be honest with you. Some of my friends were like, you know, it was one of those situations where you just had your friends in the band, but they really wasn't good. So yeah, so that situation. So
That's the only reason why you've been in the bands that I started, just because you're my friend, because you're not really that good.
yeah, I think that's why the only reason I'm in the band now is because I own the band. Like that's one of the situations where you just put yourself in it. Like it's me. Um, but yeah, so that Northeast, we had a good little run, and then the little split later on in life where we went to solo.
You got to go slower than that. So you start.
Uh,
Yeah, nah, we gotta
oh,
get
you
it.
want the history?
Yeah, like get into it. Get
I
into it.
thought
Like
this
the
was
stuff that people haven't heard before. Yeah.
yeah. So, man, like coming out of school, '89. Um, it was this band called Cummins Electric Sound. They used to be like across the street from us, right?
They're
And they
called
would
what?
Cummins Electric Sound. They also own Cummins Trucking. So it was the same people, right? And they used to play like top 40 music and everything. And they helped us out a lot. Like they gave us like our sound equipment, starting out like, little setup that we can carry around with us. And we would do these block parties like in the neighborhood, like especially like down Fifth District or something like that down Benner Road,
Mhm.
where we grew up. And then they would take us on this every year. We would go to this family reunion called the White's Family Reunion. They take us on this bus and they take us down there, and it's just this whole family. We on the lake, and we would play.
Where was
And
it?
it was in Ladysmith, Virginia.
Okay.
Oh, and Ladysmith, Virginia at the time seemed like it was like a 20-hour drive, man. It's before Kings Dominion, like it's.
Uh,
But youngster coming out of DC, living in DC, not really going too many places. Ladysmith seemed like it was in Japan or something. So we would take that bus ride down there, have a little fun. Of course, how we was. Ladies involved and all. Yeah, we fun, fun.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we would do the block parties on my street at the end of East Street, 44th and East. We would do those. We did things like the rec center at Kelly Miller where I went to school. And then from there, we did this show at Safari Club downtown. And Big Butch, I know, Stomping and Stomping Maestro and Clown, but yeah, Big Butch. We got this inside Big Butch joke, so don't pay no attention to that. But yeah, so Big Butch
I'm
was
leaving that
having
alone.
Big Butch was having this contest, right? So he saw us down there. He wanted to put us on the show at Evans Grill. It was gonna be like this, like almost like the basketball bracket where you got, your four on this side, four, and then break it down.
Mhm.
And I don't remember who we played against that first round, but this was Kurt was rapping
Right.
before Chris. So Chris wasn't always the rapper. Kurt was rapping. And man, we got on stage at Evans Grill, and the winner was gonna get to play with RE at triples.
Okay.
Yeah. So and after the first round, it was just over. Like they ain't even do the rest of the round.
Wait, oh, you didn't even have to play the rest of against the rest of the bands. Y'all
Uh,
just swept the joint.
Yeah, we just
So who
took.
made that decision though? Butch made that decision, or the other bands were just like that? We're not even trying.
Yeah, so afterwards, like I mean, after the bands play, the crowd would of course show their appreciation or whatever, and then Butch would decide based on that. So it was just overwhelming the response that we got. It was like, yeah, it's no point. It's really no point. So once we got
Okay.
on,
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Before we get there, so was Pearl the manager from the day you started?
yeah,
Okay. And
yeah,
so this show, I assume, was after you had been rehearsing
yeah, yeah,
in deep water in the basement for 5 hours a day, right?
yeah. That's where the album Straight from the Basement came from. It was like we I think we got out. That's when we got the, that kind of go hard thing about us on stage, where we felt like if you played before us, you wasn't gonna want to play before us no more. If you played after us, you definitely wasn't gonna want to play after us, because it was like we practiced the way we practiced. We didn't have sound system in the basement because the basement would flood.
Right.
Like we down there standing on cinder blocks, cords in the water. I'm playing my guitar through a radio, like one of them big boombox radios, and it's like
Mhm.
that's where that power, that drive came from.
Because
Um,
you had to have the drive because you didn't have a sound system to
right,
push.
we didn't have a sound system helping us, you
Right.
know. And so all of that was a matter of fact, that stuff right there was before Mo was in the band.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so Mo came to the band. His father played for Cummins Electric Sound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so his father was the bass player for that, and that's where I got my first 5 string bass, which I still have to this day. It's over there in the corner.
Oh,
I
wow.
only got like 3 strings on it, but I still have it. Uh,
Well, the only reason I wanted to make that point is because if you're saying that you came into this contest, this big butch contest, and you cranked so hard that you only played against one band and all the other bands just gave up, basically, or that
it
the
just wasn't. Yeah,
contest, it wasn't just because y'all were just so naturally talented that you just all came in, and it was because like why Jeff on a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about y'all would rehearse like 5, 6 days a week
yeah,
for it wasn't 2 hours a day, it was five,
no,
six
yeah,
hours a day. And it didn't matter. And Pearl would be like, no, you're gonna rehearse in the fucking flood. Like
yeah,
so I just think that's
yeah,
important to note because
yeah.
the level of dedication that bands have these days to to perfecting their craft is not anywhere close to that. And that's the making of a great band. It's not just about talent, it's about discipline and dedication and the work that you put in, and that's how you got to that point. So okay.
True.
All right, so you won the Evans Grill thing. You about to open for RE at Triples. Then what happened?
Yeah, and it's a big gap there because, like I said, prior to that show, we didn't have Hug on the mic. 32 came later. Like I said, Mo was an addition. Jam and Jeff was an addition. Um, Jeff came, like I said, I think my drummer, I think they was having the first Gogo Live show, and we were supposed to practice, and my drummer wanted to go to the show,
Mm.
and I was like, nah, we got to practice. I want to play at the show. I want to be at the show.
Mm.
And so, when he went and decided to go to the show, I got rid of him. It was my man. That's one of my best friends. But
Mm.
business is business.
Indeed.
So, and so that's where Jam and Jeff came from, and we just moved from there. But back to the triple show. Like triples, man, was like our first time getting on that real sound with Googie working it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like that was like I don't think people understand, like having Googie work your sound back then was like a dream come true. Uh,
Yep.
like and
So
we
having go good work your sound now is like a dream come true.
yeah, 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 but I mean, like, we talking about kids, like, like
True, true.
these are guys that, you know, that we looked up to.
Mhm.
All of the R Easy, the junkyards, like I don't know if a lot of people know, like I was a JY fan. You know what I'm saying? They not much older than me, but I was JY. I was like, oh, JY cranked hard. You
Yeah.
know, I was a fan of JY. My cuz used to like Chuck,
Mhm.
and then
Your
Sugar Bear used to go
cousin
to
Tommy
church.
is what you
Yeah,
telling?
yeah,
Yeah.
Tom.
Mhm.
And Sugar Bear used to go to church behind my house. So I seen him before, but I was never one of those guys that was starstruck, and I never got to introduce myself to, a lot of people. I've been around a lot of people, but I just never been that type of person to go up and talk and get information, which, you know, it's good and bad. I stay to myself, but at the same time, I ain't benefit from all the people that I knew.
Right.
I would love to have met and sit down and talk with Funky Ned. That's like one of my idols, coming up. So, and I never got to talk to him ever.
Oh, wow.
Just so one of those things. But yeah, so we back at triples. We got Hug up there. I don't think 32 was in the band yet. And Pearl made us come out with. I think we came out with. Dig Dug is singing, Tom is singing. I think we're doing like some after seven,
Wait a
after
minute.
seven
Hold
songs.
on. Did you say Big Dub and Tom were singing?
Yeah, yeah, they was on the
How have I
microphone.
never heard this story before?
They was doing the background vocals.
Dude, I'm frying the shit out of Doug next time I talk to him. You better
Yeah,
say,
after seven.
okay, all right.
Yeah,
So you,
yeah, ready or not? Yeah, Dig Dug gonna cuss me out. Hey, so yeah, he back there, ready or not? Yeah, yeah, Dig Dug and Tom.
oh my God. Yeah, that is it. Oh boy. Yeah. Some
Yeah, so
frying is on its way.
yeah, 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 get him. He sound pretty good though. I'm gonna find that tape. I'm gonna send it to Hug.
If
Have Hug.
you have pictures, John, then please. I'm posting them all over the GoGoTix website if you have pictures of Dig
I
Dug.
gotta say the pictures and videos for the documentary.
Oh, all right. I got you. I got you. All right. Real quick, everybody that's on Instagram, because I see my man Darius the Great over there. Everybody that's on Instagram, head over to YouTube. That's where the real. That's where the whole. Hey, Tamiko. That's where the whole episode is, where you can see Khari. You can ask questions. Darius, I know you don't have a rack of questions, so but head over to YouTube. That's where you ask. I'm
Oh
not
yeah, I see
answering
Tamiko right there. Yeah,
on Instagram. What you said?
Marcella's right there too.
You said Marcelo's on here too?
Yeah,
Okay.
Marcella.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
What's up,
see a
Marcelo?
couple people
I
over
don't
here.
know who KP is, but Brooks, my man Brooks is on here too. But everybody, yeah, everybody that's on Instagram, head over to YouTube. That's where the real action is. Okay, so triples came out with after seven.
And
How
yeah, it, again, like I said, that being on that sound, you know what I'm saying? It was like a kid in a candy store, and we took total advantage of the situation. Like so, to hear, to go from the basement to this level of sound. We had Triples, one of the premier clubs back then. We with RE, you know, it seemed like after that point, that just sky was the limit. It was just like show after show. We opening for Junk, we opening for RE, you know, and it just was it was a good thing. It was a good thing for us. I mean, we came. I think a lot of people probably, remember like we kind of changed the go-go, a little bit from the traditional, because you already had your RE, your junkyard, your EU, the hot cold sweat. So we were like this mash of all of that, and then
was that intentional? Like, did you guys sit down and say we want to change the sound of Go Go? We want to do it this way, or was it just result of the people that you had in the band and how they all played together?
yeah, it was just a result of the people that we had in the band.
Okay.
Um, because it was like take me for instance, like if you watch my technique or my style, like I never took bass guitar lessons or anything like that. So like the way I play is not like the normal bass player. Like my style is like it's I just like you're supposed to lock with the drums and all of that stuff, and you're supposed to stay here and do this, and I was never bounded by all of those rules. I just played.
Well, clearly you were never bound by the rule of you have to stay awake on stage while you're playing the bass either, because you are literally the only bass player I've ever seen in my entire life that can literally fall asleep on stage and still keep playing the bass line.
Hey, hey, that was I don't look. I can't even say that. I wouldn't even say nothing stupid as yeah, that was God. Like, oh God. Like, so, no, I'm just joking. Nah, that was I don't know what was happening, man. That was like just a checkout. um
It was more than once, Kyrie. You and that's some impressive shit to be able to fall asleep. Because I was standing right next to you, and your ass would be knocked the fuck out, but you're still playing the bass. But you always have your sunglasses on, so nobody
see,
can believe.
right. So That's why I always wore sunshades. So it was two reasons I always wore sunshades. One was because I used to be scared as hell on stage,
Mhm.
and so the shades just blocked everybody out.
Yeah.
Um, and then so I would play with my eyes closed a lot of times, but unfortunately, sometimes I just go on fall asleep.
But
but
my
I
man
kept
Jerry, my man Jerry over said NEG narcoleptic entertainment groovers.
playing. Hey, that's the best. That's the best one yet. Hey, Larry. Yeah, the rides home. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, me and my crash.
We're gonna talk about the rides home later too, but go ahead, keep going with your story.
Yeah, I crashed dropping malls. Yeah. Mm.
Mhm.
Crashed into my own car. With That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
don't fall asleep on the interview, please. All right, keep
Nah,
going.
nah, I'm good. I'm good. I don't really do that too much no more,
That's
unless it's other stuff involved.
all right. Go ahead with the story. So you played with triples. Shit was on the rise. This was what year?
Man, come on, man. You asking me years, man.
I mean, roughly speaking, like, or like how many years after the band started?
It was in the early 90s, 90, 91, 90, something like that.
Okay,
Uh,
so you started in 87, 91 it starts to take off. So that's
yeah,
4 years.
90 it starts to take off. Yeah.
90 it starts to take off. So that's still 3 years. 3 years of practicing 5, 6 hours, 5, 6 days a week, whatever, however many hours and days of the week it is in under duress in
Yeah, in not
situations.
the traditional situation. It was bad.
And so, but that creates something, that creates a sound, that creates a level of discipline and tenacity, I guess I would say, for the band, to be able to move forward in the way that you move forward, right?
Yeah, of course. And I mean, Pearl wouldn't have had it. A lot of the things we did was, um, people probably don't know. A lot of the ideas was Pearl ideas, but like she didn't play. Like if we was down there, messing around, laughing, joking, man, she flicked them lights and tell us get the out of there, and we be standing outside looking stupid for a minute. You know, man, she always tripping. That type of thing, and then but that just got us. Made us focus, and it just got us ready for what was about to come. I mean,
Mhm.
even like the helicopter thing, that was Pearl idea. It came from her favorite movie. She's watched this movie with Bette Midler in it called The Rose.
Mhm.
And in her last show, she came down out of a helicopter, and of course, that was when she passed on stage. But of course, we didn't get that result.
That's good.
But yeah, we had all these wild out there. We wanted to come in on four wheelers and horses and all that. She was like, "Nah, we're gonna do a helicopter." We was like, "What?
What's this? That's
Helicopter?"
hilarious.
Yeah. So all of that type of stuff. Hug singer, window pane. That wasn't his idea. Like that was like her favorite song. She kind of forced it on
I got you.
him. But
So how
yeah,
did you guys decide what songs you were going to play? I mean, I'm asking. I know from when I was there, but I'm just asking for people that don't know.
I mean, well, early on, it was more of a team effort. Everything was a team effort. It was like, but if you were a singer, we felt like bring stuff that you're capable of doing. And then as far as the music goes and the percussion, we just figure out how to do it. That's why it's like I listen to the radio now and I'm like, damn, we actually played that song. That song's stupid as hell. But, you know, um, we just played. And a lot of times, a lot of the material that came right on stage. Like the DJ might be
When I
playing.
was there, like we never decided what it was. Just like
Yeah,
Mom
it's
would
just,
say something, or rapper would say something, or whoever would just like play this, and we just like, all right,
yeah,
and start playing some shit. Yeah.
yeah. So like the DJ could be playing something, or it was times where I might be messing around on bass line, and rapper was always like this. Rapper's like I guess like the studio session guy. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like he don't play no instruments, but he know what he hear. So he like, do that, put this right there, put that right there. You know, he's just like the producer, the
Yeah, I was
producer.
gonna say you said a studio session guy. I was gonna say
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
call
the
him a
producer.
producer, Khari.
And so it's like he's you know, he might hear something, hear us messing around, be like, do that. All right, go ahead. Stomp play or Jeff play at the time, you know. And we
Mhm,
start that, and then next thing you know, it just turned into a groove. Like
mhm,
I was looking at the live the other day with Stomp and Chris, and they was like, we on that late, you know, we on that late night. That came on stage.
mhm,
Right
mhm.
on stage, like it was just like we started messing around. Next thing you know, it
You
was a
can,
full.
just so you know, you can cuss if you want to. Like you know,
Oh
it's
nah, you know, I just be trying to keep it clean, man. You know, I don't know some interviews I gotta tone it down. I just like to show people that I'm capable.
gotcha. All right, well, do what you feel. I'm just letting you know if one slips out, it's not that big of
Ah,
a
yeah,
deal.
yeah. Oh, Rodney, you talking about the one? Yeah, Wilmer's Park jump. But yeah, so from there, man, it was just like I said, it wasn't personal with the bands, but trust and believe. Every time after that triple show forward, we was trying to bust people ass.
Right,
That was just our goal. It was like whoever we playing with, we like, oh yeah. You know, we chop it up with you, speak to you. It's all good. We all family, as friends. But on stage, it was business.
right.
You know, so I mean, man, like it's so much to talk about when you talk about Northeast Groove. It's like coming from Northeast Groove was in the '90s. I mean, I it would almost be like rambling because you know, like you got the stories of how we got together. You got the stories of the bands that we played with, the shows that we did. You know, the like I remember we played. I think we played at Delaware, man, Delaware State, and it's like KRS-One, MC Light, all these people on the show. And again, this before we learned that when you go out of town, you need to play originals because they don't respect that other stuff.
Hmm.
And so we went up Delaware and we started off with some Tony, Tony, Tony. It never rains in Southern California. I tell you, man, these people looked at us so hard like they could look through us, and it just never changed. Like not a person budged.
Wow.
Nobody. Man, chaos. The DJ came on and lit our ass up. The DJ. It wasn't even KRS-One and none of them. The DJ came on and started playing some stuff, man, and the crowd went crazy.
Mhm.
So of course, you know, we had to get them back when we got them at Maryland University.
Mhm.
They was in our city. You know what I'm saying? KRS-One in there, yeah, and we tore them a new one.
Right.
So, but
Well,
yeah,
so
from
wait a minute. So you came out with the Tony, 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 and then you did what? Like, so
yeah,
they even
man,
after you went into your own stuff that you just lost them from the
yeah,
beginning and you never got
from
it
the
back.
beginning of the show, it was lost, and we never got it together.
Ah, I got you. I
Yeah,
got
we never got it together. I don't give a damn. We could have lit the guitars on fire. We could have lit a full bomb on stage, man. Them people did not care.
you. Right.
They looking at us like, yeah, bring on the DJ.
Right.
You know, from that point on, man, when we started going, what's up, Paulette?
Yeah, hey, Paula.
Jade, my little cuz son, Jade. What
Got,
he
you got your whole family on here. Where's
doing?
little Kyrie at?
Oh man, he in Florida. I don't know what he doing. He in Florida. He wilding.
Oh,
You know, being a 24-year old.
right.
Yeah.
Um,
He,
so the main thing I try to get to with these interviews is what can we like if the goal is, which you know my goal always is to move go forward into the future and to be nationally and internationally recognized genre on par with hip hop or any other genre, as opposed to just sort of the regional novelty museum piece that it is at this moment. What are the lessons that you could take from what was done well with Northeast Groovers and what maybe wasn't done so well with Northeast Groovers that you could take that lesson and like just like how you just said about coming out with a cover song in another state. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I think you know. we learned only early on, like straight from the basement. What that was released in '94.
Mhm.
Jams, I think '95. Northeast Coming was like '99. So we had structured songs, and then we had our hardcore regular go-go. You know, so we had the idea back then to try to do original music with song structure. That's why like we was on the radio. We made the Billboard's Top 100, came in number 2. If
Mhm.
anybody didn't know that, we lost the Boys and Men. um, but they even had our slow song. I forgot the name of the slow song. I can't think of it right now, but they had that playing on 96.3. So regular rotation. So I
Damn, man,
think I
me forget it. The one from Straight from the Basement.
yeah,
Um,
mystery. It was misery
yeah,
or misery.
mystery. Yeah, yeah, mystery. Yeah.
But yeah, so we had the idea of what was needed, which was to do original songs, song structure. Um, the side that we didn't have down was the business side. My mother was the glue. She did her thing as far as making sure we were on time, making sure we had our instruments, making sure we practiced and all of that. But we came up in that era with, well, the music industry where if you don't know something, ain't nobody gonna tell you. They just gonna take
Right.
advantage of it.
And
And that's
there's
what
no
happened.
internet to where you can look it up or what, and very
Yeah,
few books on the subject. Yeah, it was not as the information was not as ubiquitous as it is now. Yeah.
yeah. So now, if you getting railroaded, then it's just your own fault. But back then it was just we didn't know, so we screwed up some publishing deals. So make sure you don't do that, man, because publishing can have you eating for a long time, especially
Mhm.
when you're a band like us who we didn't even play for 10 years and people were still talking about Northeast Groups.
Mhm.
So, my kids talk about my kids' friends and everybody knows Northeast Groups. So that mistake of not knowing the business side, not doing that paperwork properly, I think is something that keeps bands from going to the next level. Of course, there's the originality, and you got to understand. And I understand this. What I do understand is with the go-go industry, the reason why they're hesitant to kind of go out there and try to push forward is because it's self-sustainable here.
Mhm.
Well, there because I'm in Atlanta, but
Right.
it's self-sustainable. So it's like you got bands making, some bands was making a half meal, like a year,
But
and
that, but that's my question though. Really is, I mean, and maybe it's just it's different now. But I
it's
noticed in the
a lot different.
documentary. What's that?
It's a lot different now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the documentary that I know you say you didn't see it yet, but the young lady Natalie Hopkinson, who she's a professor at Howard now, and she's
Mhm.
a journalist, like I think. Um, she said something about I just feel like there's sort of this a little bit of a fantastical sheen put over go-go where it's this multi-million dollar generating industry where the music where she said the black dollar circulates, and which in theory is a great concept, but I'm just saying I know almost everybody in go-go, and I've talked to a lot of people in go-go, and part of the reason I started this show was because these are a lot of just phone conversations that I have with people anyway, and I'm like, people need to know this information. I probably count on two hands the amount of people that make a full-time living on go-go. Almost everybody. I mean, Donnell Floyd, one of the most iconic figures in the entire go-go industry, has worked at Verizon for like 30 years. You know
Right,
what
right.
I'm
Yeah,
saying?
of
So
course.
it's
And I
not
work,
like
I was
go-go
working
is
my whole
really
time.
the, say it again.
I said I was working. Well, again, like you said, it changed though. So early on, no, I wasn't working, but
Right.
since 2000 to now, I've been working a job and playing go-go. So
Right.
yeah, but and I've also, because of Mambo Sauce, I've seen both sides of the equation.
We're gonna
Um,
get there. We're gonna get there. Don't go there too
okay,
soon. We're gonna
yeah,
get
so
there.
I've seen both sides of the equation, so I know what go-go can do out there.
Yeah.
If it's done right.
Right.
It's just it's the opportunities that we've had that we've squandered, you know, for whatever reason. I'm not in those groups or anything, so I don't know why what happened or whatever. But there's a lot of situations where I see where we just screwed it up. We just screwed it up. And if I had to say anything to the younger bands, I would just tell them like, look, man, like, see, it's hard for me to say this with you saying wait. You know what I'm saying? Wait for the Mambo Sauce part. So
Yeah, just hold for a second because I want to get into. I'm just saying that's the overall objective of the interview series is to really
yeah,
identify, because I think people talk about it in broad terms and people sort of gloss over the real reasons why the shit hasn't gotten outside of here, because it doesn't seem like it could be real. Like it seems like, and I know and I know, and I've mentioned it on this thing before, like especially working at the casino really sort of opened my eyes, because I'm like, I'm paying somebody that hasn't had a hit song in 20 years, $150,000 to come play in a 500 capacity room, and this go-go band can basically do almost the same thing, but they don't have these hit songs, so they're not getting, and these records that they've sold and this internationally known name, so they're not getting the same, I can't, I lost Khari. I don't know what happened. Hopefully he'll get back in a second. But anyway, just so I can finish my thought, hopefully Khari can hear me. Let me text him, and I don't know what's going on. He was he said he was connected to the Ethernet, so he shouldn't be having any Wi-Fi problems. I'm not sure what happened there. But anyway, just to finish my point is that there are so many artists that I brought that because they had records and because they had a history on a national and international basis, they got paid more. And go-go bands are seen as local regional successes and don't have the same leverage. And I just think that's not right. And it's a fixable goal. And it's something that I feel like people in go-go feel like it's just this insurmountable thing that we can't be in that position. And I disagree with that wholeheartedly. We absolutely can. All right. So while I'm waiting for Khari to see if he can get back on here, if you're making comments in the comment section, just please understand we're not going to be able to respond to the comments. If you have a specific question, please ask the question over there as well. Or you can text it also to 202 410 what is the number? 202-410. Geez, I'm having problems right now. 410-4843. So that's 202-410-4843. Or if you're on the YouTube, you can just ask it in the comment section. But I appreciate everybody saying hello and everything, but I'm not going to be able to respond to every single one of those because I want to make sure we get through this story. I'm not sure what's going on here. He said cool, so hopefully he'll get back on here in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and run some of these spots here while I'm waiting for him. If you haven't gotten your Go-Go as Fuck t-shirt yet, please go grab it now. You can get them at gogotix.co/shop. I've also got sweatshirts too. I know it's getting a little warmer, so go ahead and get your sweatshirt before it's too hot.
Drinks on me, girls on me, on the dance floor, all eyes on me, rolling like a rock star. You can find me in VIP, all eyes on me, yeah, where the girls are, this is how your night should be.
Okay, so Kyrie is having issues with his computer. Let me just let him know he can use his phone. Phone. So we got to cut Kyrie a little bit of slack because he gave his nice computer to his daughter and he kept the old one, and so he's using his old janky ass computer right now. So that's the reason why. I guess it happened. Old school Queenie, I see that you ordered your shirt. Thank you very much. Please, it should be in the confirmation email that you get, but because of COVID, the fulfillment times are a little bit pushed back. So hopefully you should get it soon if you haven't already gotten it. If you do get it, if you could do me a favor and just shoot. Just tag GOGOTIX in a picture with you on it on Instagram. That would be awesome. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Tamiko, I got you. Yeah, thanks, man. 202-410-4843 for questions. This is the dumb part. Kyrie's a damn IT dude for a living. He can't. He's trying to figure out how to get back on. So hopefully we'll get him back on here in a second. In the meantime, just so you know, the rest coming up this week. Tomorrow I have Cy Smith on the show. If you don't know who she is, let me get this other banner out of the way. If you don't know who Cy Smith is, she's originally from DC. She played in the Go-Go band back in the day, but she has also sung background for Whitney Houston. She was one of the background singers on American Idol. Thanks, Rodney. I appreciate it, man. She was one of the background singers on American Idol for a long time. She's written for Carlos Santana. But more importantly to you folks, she was actually throwing go-go's out here in LA back when I was back home doing Mambo Sauce. And then she also did one recently, like maybe 2 years ago, where the band consisted of one of the keyboard players from Prince and some of the guys that played with the Jacksons. So really high level musicians playing go-go. So that was pretty dope. So we got her on tomorrow. And then on Friday, we got my man Crazy Legs, dancer from Beat Your Feet Kings. I think we got Kyrie back now finally after 7,000 years. So hold on, let me try to get him back in here. Oh, Mr. IT man figured out how to get back on the feed, huh?
No, it wasn't that. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
All right. You sound a little bit quieter than you did before. Can you turn your volume up a little bit? Is that possible? Look at this fancy.
How about now?
Yeah, it's a little better. It's a little better.
I just want to make sure I'm not echoing on that.
Say it again.
Not an electronics guru. That's funny.
So yeah, it still seems a little bit. Damn. NEG's gonna have a rack of different names by the end of today.
I know, right?
That's funny. But yeah, you're still a little bit quiet, so you might gotta raise your voice a little bit. But so we were talking about sort of the reasons why I think, I guess the point I was trying to make, and you were gone, I don't know if you could hear me while you were gone, but the point I was trying to make is that I think people in go-go sort of feel like, major success is just like a pipe dream, like that it's not even possible and that they can't do it. And I just don't even, like that thought just doesn't even enter into my mind. I just don't even think that's fair or right or anything. I think we just do, frankly, dumb shit that prohibits us from making a larger impact. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. So before we go too deep into that, if anybody has any specific questions about Northeast and the history of Northeast, just go ahead and ask them in the YouTube. But right now I want to get to, well, first of all, I have to ask a super, very serious, important question.
Oh, okay.
Can you confirm or deny that I think it's on Tear the Roof Off This Mother, that somebody on the front line is saying, Kyrie, come on and rock my bottom, Is that really what they're saying in that song?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Oh my God! So all right, so obviously that was way before the pausing was in
Yeah,
effect and all that,
yeah,
and everybody. But man, that is fucking hilarious. So okay,
yeah.
so what? And I was there, so I remember. But what caused the demise of Northeast Groovers? Like, not even necessarily what exactly happened, but well, I guess I shouldn't say demise because it's still a band. But I mean, when you went from okay, we're playing 3-4 times every week to not anymore. What was the cause of that?
Um, I mean, if I had to guess, well, for one, it seemed like to me we just, I don't know. I mean, we lost sight. We lost sight collectively. Like we lost our identity. You know, we had bands coming behind us. I think it was that thing. We just hit. We probably just hit the panic button, man. Just if I had to be honest, like Backyard was coming up. It was other bands coming behind us that were putting that pressure on us a little bit.
Well,
And
when was this happening? Because I mean, was this was so obviously we sort of stopped being Northeast Groovers at the time. So Rapper left, and then we turned into solo,
solo, yeah,
and then and then we had General Lee who was rapping, and then he stopped showing up because we were talking so much good stuff about how solo was going to be so great. And we're like, yeah, y'all made me fire him, and they're like, we got to fire him from solo, and then but we want to keep him for Northeast Groovers, but when we play with solo, it's like buffets and shit like that. And we would play with Northeast Groovers. It's like people getting beat up in the back at the Metro Club. So he was like, nah, I don't want to do that.
right.
So but then the band came back, and I was gone. I was gone. I don't remember exactly what happened. I think I must have been in Vegas or something. I don't remember. You did the
Yeah,
reunion, and then the band came back, and then went away again, and then came
yeah.
back again without Rapper in 2009, I guess it was. So what was it that? So between, because I guess I wasn't there for that part. So between solo and when y'all came back the next time, because I wasn't there, what happened?
I mean, at that point, of course, my mom's had a little bit involvement with solo, but not a whole lot. And then when Northeast came back, um, it was just some of the people in the band. I guess you might as well you could say people just got big headed, thought they knew it all. You know, um, it's the rumors going around about Pearl. That she was taking money, and if I went into those stories of how stuff really went down, like of course I got to say that for the doc, but
Well, no, that's
like
cool. But at least clear up that rumor. At least clear
yeah,
up.
so like it was a different time. So first of all, you talking about band, you got 500 people at $10 a head. So it's not like those shows now where you gouging people for $50 a head at 500 people. So we pretty much, I mean, our books, everybody could see our books. What we did was we made it where you would get paid weekly, whether we played or not. You
Salary.
know, um, yeah. So early on, it was we was just giving out all the money. But then when it came time to buy equipment, we had to come out of pocket. My mother, my father, my father was fireman, he was footing the bill for some stuff. Of course, we wasn't working, we were only playing in the band. Um, so we felt like, okay, we're gonna put it on salary. So when this money comes and we got money, we giving Big Ed the money to go buy everybody's equipment, like, so these guys didn't have to pay for nothing. You know, like now, like a lot of bands, you got to pay for your own equipment. You got to handle your own maintenance and everything. Like we had a crew of people. Like Ed would go to the store, buy my strings, my guitars, the
Yeah.
keyboards, fix the drum heads. They would
Yep.
maintenance everything. They would set everything up. All we had to do is just come.
Yep.
When it came to going on the road, everything was taken care of on the road, the hotels, the food, everything. We had to do nothing ourselves.
Right.
So when you have a business, you have to, if you running a business properly, then you have to allow for those things. You can't give out all the money, and then when it's time to go here, um, you can't go here. So she did things like, you know, help people get cars. I mean, when the kids were born, she went to the store and got them, you know,
Mhm.
yeah, got people out of, you know, situations. So a lot of that stuff, I don't know where the rumors started. I still to this day don't know exactly where they started. I've heard rumors of rumors, you know, or of you know, people in the band or whatever, you know, that they said that it came from this person in the band or came from that. But um me myself, you know, I'm we do business. You know what I'm saying? Like so I'm past all of that stuff. We move forward and trying to do things the right way currently. Um, you know, but yeah,
Well,
man, that's a serious story
before
right
that was the right way. You know what I mean? It was just people didn't understand that's the right way, and that's one thing I wanted to say is that there is a prevailing attitude in go-go that I'm a musician, I have talent, just pay me. And I don't care how much money you're losing. I don't care how much work you're doing. I don't care about anybody else, what anybody else's contribution is to it. I deserve this because I am talented. Pay me. And
right.
that's not how it works. And maybe it's on sometimes on management's job to try to explain a little better that, hey, you know, these picks and strings and amplifier repairs and drum heads and stuff aren't coming out of the thin air, and that's not somebody else's responsibility to pay for that. So technically, you know, I mean, technically the band is paying for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it's just being taken care of for you, which is a benefit. So stop complaining.
yeah. So even in situations where, you know, people had bills that needed to be paid, like so the way we did it was if they weren't responsible enough themselves to pay their bills, then you know
Took it out of their stuff.
they would have my mom like hold this for me, you know, so she would just take it out every week and pay it, take care of it. Like, you
Yeah.
know, I think her biggest mistake was she treated all of them the same way she treated me. She treated all of them like they were her kids. And we all know
He
how.
wasn't even there for that long. So yeah.
Yeah, so even and we all know how that goes when you know you got rebellious kids. You know, they talk trash, they say things, they act out when you tell them to do something. And so I think that was the biggest problem with Northeast Groovers later on. Like, you know, these guys became adults and thought they knew better in most cases, and you know, and it just affected us. At one point, I can honestly say it may have affected our friendships and you know, the brotherhood that we had. Um, but you know, for the most part, we've been able to move past it, and you know, I think everybody's you know, a lot more mature now. We trying to handle things, you know, accordingly. I don't get those crazy phone calls no more.
Right.
That I would normally get, man. This dude getting on my nerves and you know, all that type of stuff. And
Well,
but
so I
I'm
don't
the
want
bad guy, so I don't mind playing the bad guy right now because I really don't care.
well, I don't want to focus on all the negative. Obviously, people know outwardly what benefit and what contribution Northeast Groovers made to GoGo. But what do you think um, what do you think, like a behind the scenes thing that Novice Groovers did that maybe the average person doesn't know, or the average band member in another band doesn't know, that you feel like what contributed to the success? You know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure that the positivity is outlined as well. Like what,
Yeah,
not
I
just
mean,
wrong, but what we did well.
man, it's just like if you the guys that's in the band, I'm talking about the rapper, Hug, Maestro, keyboard Chris, Drew done fell right in there with us, Smoke. It's like all of those different personalities. Of course, we're adults, of course we like brothers, we gonna bump heads and we gonna bump heads hard, but honestly, this band wouldn't have been what it was without those individuals. I'm talking about the Jodi's, the Jam and Jeffs, you was there, Rez, you was there. My cousin Tom. Like it wouldn't have been the band that we are now without those people. So it's not like I would switch anybody out. And I can't even really speak to what makes it happen, man, because it's like we won't practice for months and just get on stage and it's just right back, and it's just like over the last few years, I've just been like, damn, what would happen if we really practice? Because me, Mo, and Chris live here in Atlanta,
Yep.
and we live here in Atlanta, and I don't even see these guys. so, so just imagine the people that's back home in DC. So, I think behind the scenes, man, it's just the at this point, it's not even it might have been the years of practice back then that just holds us down now. Um, But it's just like it's just we know each other. We know what each other gonna do, man, and it just makes it easy on stage. So aside from all the bickering, brothers have beefs, get on each other's nerves, man. It's just like, but it is what it is, man. We pass all of that. We trying to do the right thing.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. Tell me about Mambo Sauce. Tell everybody about Mambo Sauce. Like,
Um,
how did you get in the band? How long did the person that created the band have to? How many times did the person that created the band have to ask you to be in the band before you finally agreed to be in the band? Tell us about that story.
yeah, I mean, again, so you came to me. You came to me when you talked to me about it when you were in California, and I was like, man, I'm a DC boy. I was like, I never saw myself living in another state, and I definitely was not moving all the way across the country, all the way across the states to California, right? So I'm like, yeah, nah, I can't do that, Red. So hell, nah. And so you drove on home, and you talked to me, and I was still like, hell, nah. um,
What was making you say no?
the same thing that makes Go stay in DC.
Which
The
is
same the same thing that makes Go say. So what was making me say no is because first of all, I hadn't seen it. I didn't see that happening prior to. Like, yeah, EU, because I saw EU go out, but when they came back, they wasn't accepted early on. I saw Trouble Funk go out, and when they came back, they wasn't quite accepted. So if you're a big band here in DC and you've seen the bigger bands go out and come back and it didn't work. And it's like, damn, like I'm scared to do that shit. So I'm stay right here.
here's my question with that. Like clearly both EU and Trouble Funk are still playing now. Every
Yeah.
band has ups and downs.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah,
I didn't even take that in. I didn't even take that in. So what was keeping me from doing what you were talking about was that. This, like I said, it's the same thing because you're scared. You're used to the norm of playing 15 times a week. You know what I'm saying? Making that little money a week, and then you you can walk around the street and hey, what's up? Everybody know you. You like this star in your own town.
right.
So and it's like you were bringing to me about this. Yeah, man, we can do recordings, we can do real music, and while that sound good, I was like, yeah, nah. And then you let me hear, I forgot the name, what song, but you let me hear the first song. You let me hear like 2 songs off of that y'all had already put together, and I was like, damn, this shit sound good. Because I always felt like, honestly, like when me playing with Northeast, I never really got to stretch out,
Right.
musically, and it didn't bother me because I started it, So and that was my own fault. I probably could have stretched out, but I didn't. So being with Mambo Sauce, and then that experience, man, that experience helped me a lot. Like musically, it helped me a lot. Like it just showed me another side, like that you can do these real songs. This concept will work. And like I said, I've seen it from both sides. But going back to the beginning, so you let me hear those songs, and it kind of sold me, but still not quite. So I was willing to put the effort in to see where it was going to go, because I was at a point in my life where I felt like I've already given Northeast and the city of DC everything that I could give them, and we still get left out of certain things. We still, you still don't hear mention of Pearl in the museum, and you don't, as much as we've done for the go-go business, you just don't hear about us much. But as soon as the band break up, everybody grabbing the members. So so it's like you important but not important. You good but not good enough. You're not good when you together, but when you separate, we love you. So
Right.
that type of thing. So I was open to trying something
When you're
different.
together, you're a problem.
Yeah, that's the truth though.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
To keep Mambo Sauce, I don't want to get on a tangent.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So, I get to the Mambo Sauce practice, and I think when I got there, Smoke was already there, right? I don't
It's
even
just
think people
already.
yeah, I don't even think people know Smoke played with Mambo Sauce, do
Yeah. Yeah.
they?
Smoke was on the first. Well, I think he was on the first two songs, and I think or the first three songs. Yeah, which was, and then we had to replace him because then he left and went with Familiar Faces or somebody, I think, what for a more traditional go-go,
Yeah,
every week kind of situation. And then
yeah,
we had to like replace his congas on a couple of the songs.
yeah.
Replace his tracks that we had recorded on Damn Joe, I think, and Go maybe, I forget. But
Yeah,
but
so
yeah,
once
so Smoke was already there when you got there, I think.
once we started to create, you know what I'm saying? Once we started to practice, I don't know, I just saw it, man. I just saw it. I was all in. It seemed like it was going in the right direction. Oh, Darius said what? You hold on, let me Darius, that's a good question. I think it's because like we've always gone our own way. So when we always go our own way, that puts us on the outside of the circle. And we've always been on the outside of the circle, and we continue to be on the outside of the circle. So those people in the circle, when they do documentaries or when they do museums or when they do certain shows or certain this, like we don't get involved in that. It's okay because, like I said, we got something big that we working on. I feel like honestly, like the only way this story would get told properly is if we just back it and put the money behind it and tell it ourselves.
All right. All right. Well, since everybody seems to want to stay on Northeast Groovers, let's stay there for one more second. Chris from Create DC wants to know: Did Pearl have higher goals for NEG? I know she adopted the band, but did she have a vision further than the local Go-Go Weekly show? Was that something you guys were trying to do, or no?
It was like so. What Pearl did, Pearl was just being a mother. Um, she was like, "All right, you gonna do a band thing? Then I'm gonna manage it." And we all learned together. The band learned and she learned at the same time. And so the goal was to do what the REs and the junkyards and the EUs did. The goal was, so we never set early on. We never set that goal to say we wanted to get outside of DC, man. We wanted to play at the Cap Center. That was like big for us. That we wanted to get to Wilmer's Park. So, and I think that's where a lot of the go-go bands fall, because they're looking at the bands that came before them, and they like, well, they cool with this, and this is what we want to do. We want to see what they said. Like, they're known in the city, they're making money in the city. They seem to be sustaining a little bit, like, and everybody don't know that half the people got jobs and all of that. They think, yeah, they just, in a band playing and they're making their money. So now, early on, we didn't have that vision, and it's still to this day hard to make certain people see that vision, because all they've ever known is DC.
Right. Well, Tamiko wants to know if we can talk about the pool parties in Sunshine and Juicy. No, Tamiko, even though it does not surprise me that you want to talk about half naked women. But yes, we can talk about the pool party. The band was cranking, the women were naked, and there's a video. So we're already an hour and 5 minutes in, of which 50 minutes Khari wasn't even on here because his computer died or something. So we got to move on to Mambo Sauce. Okay, so we already talked about the you getting into the band. At what point did you what point did you realize that it was working? Like, when were you like, okay, this can really do something more than just what you just described? This can do something more than play every week in DC.
Man, it was like, I don't think nobody really saw where it actually went, but I know for me, I just felt like it was different enough and good enough. Like, I put the CD, like, even now when I listen to the CD, it's like I don't skip a song. So I just felt like the music and the energy between the members and the idea itself just was concrete enough that I was going to go ahead and roll with it and see where it was going to go. And I honestly, I mean, I tell people all the time, I was like, look, man, I'm like, we seeing the kind of money doing one song, traveling out of town, play Welcome to DC, and come back home and make what some people was making for a week of shows. So at that point, definitely during that point, like, I started to see things, like, we getting invites out to go do like lip sync, lip sync, they
yeah. Now those weren't even, I don't even think that they would require the performance part of it. It was just like a walkthrough, and then we just did got on and did the rap, like, to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, and it was working. I mean, it was working. The song, the song being played on the radio, and it was funny because I don't even think we liked Miracles or Welcome to DC. Wasn't that kind of like we was just kind of throwing it out there or something just to get the name out?
Well, as far as releases,
yeah.
No, I mean, Welcome to DC was definitely, because I remember that I had a meeting in New York with Columbia Records, based on the success we were having with Miracles, but they wanted to do a single deal, and there was no upfront money, which was not abnormal. But I already knew from the dealings, the sentiment of the band at that point, that wasn't something that they were going to want to accept. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
And that if there wasn't any money to get people out of their jobs, then they weren't going to be able to make anything happen. But I remember very distinctly coming from that meeting and having a conversation with the lawyer about it, and showing him the very early mix of Welcome to DC and saying, this is going to be our next single. And he was like, yeah, I think that's going to make some noise. And he was a dude from New York. He wasn't even a DC person that even knew what go-go was. But when he heard that, he was like, yeah, that's going to make something happen. So Welcome to DC was definitely intended to be a single I don't remember Miracles, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
Miracles was just a
Our
throwaway.
objective that was.
I think Miracles was just like we need to put something out there real quick.
Right.
um, and it did well. It was crazy. It was crazy. Wasn't expecting it, but
Yeah.
just like doing just the shows, the colleges, and it was just a different feel, and it
What was
kind of,
different about it? Why was it different?
I mean, here we are. You got this band that's quote unquote doing the music, doing the business side the right way. Um, we're succeeding without doing the norm, which is playing 30 times a week, you know, um, playing cover songs. Like we're doing big events. Um, I think it really threw people off when we won, Go-Go Band of the Year, Song of the Year, and all of that stuff. And you couldn't even find us on a weekly gig, so. But
Well,
that,
that was
that
because I was turning them all down because
yeah,
that
that
wasn't
was
the
the intent.
objective. Trust me, every promoter in the city called and asked, but I said no because that wasn't what we because I knew that was going to be a drug. I knew that was going to get people stuck
Right
and
back where we were, yeah.
right back, yeah. So yeah, that was a hard decision to make, but I definitely
No,
turned
it was
a
a
lot.
good one because it I don't know, I can't speak for everybody else in the band, but for me it did open my eyes as to like, damn, like, so if we'd have did this back when I had Northeast Groovers, like how successful could they have been? You know, and just moving forward, like even with the tour, like man, when we went on tour with Soldier, man, I'm talking about thousands of people, and I mean I'm talking about like not all black crowd, I'm talking white people, full white crowd, like partying to go cowbell, straight cowbell, percussion, go. You know what I'm saying? And they just was like, man, what the hell is this, man? I love it. And then they would follow you from city to city. Like, I don't even know. They was buying the merchandise. I mean, it just, and then the venues, I think what switched it up for me was the venues that we played in versus the go-go bands. It was like, when you go to the go-go show, man, like the security searching you, you know what I'm saying? You get a strip search at your own show. Then you sitting in the damn crowd, like you don't have nowhere to sit. They don't give you no parking spaces. And then here we are. We out here with people that don't even know who we are. And they, I don't give a damn if you ask for red Skittles in your dressing room. They had red Skittles and you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Um, they setting your equipment up. They treating you like the artist. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? They treating you like you mattered. And I mean, I just
Well,
saw,
that's because you are an artist. Like
right,
that's because
yeah,
you like you did all the things that artists do, and you had some success, and you were able to
yeah.
capitalize on that success, and that's the
And
point.
we didn't have to look for parking spaces. Like, I still, even to this day, like, the venues just, I don't know, man. It's like, man, we just did a show. I paid $30 to park. You know what I'm saying? I paid 30. So
Hmm.
I had no idea what the rest of the band paid, but I'm fucking owner. I paid $30 to park. You know, riding around looking for parking space. Hey, where we gonna park at? Like it's like and then you had these venues, man. They block off a area, so when you get there, you park. You just park. You park. You go in. They deal with your stuff. Of course, the other side to that is we're doing sound checks 3-4 hours before the
Well, that's
show.
what I was going to say. What time do you get there as opposed to
Yeah,
what time you used to get there with all these groovers?
yeah. You get in there like 3-4 hours for the show, and you're parked, you're set up, your sound check. So when the show starts, you play. Just that simple. We're not, um, that's part of the side of the go-go part that I feel is like so unprofessional, and I honestly think that stuff kind of holds us back. But it is what it is.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know that you know I don't know that that can change. Honestly, I would like it to, but it's just so hard to get band members to do. Like, nowadays, it's hard to get band members to come to practice. You know, and so like for promo and things like that, you need a band picture. Like somebody called me and said, "Hey, I want to use this song, or I want to use the band. I need a picture." I put a fucking collage together because because I don't have a band picture.
Right. All right. So we're gonna get into that in 1 second. But so Darius was asking. So Darius says Soldier Boy. So no, not Soldier Boy. We're talking about Soja, which is Soja, which
Yeah,
is a reggae band from from Northern Virginia, an all-white reggae band that Mambo Sauce used to play with all the time and ended up going on tour with. So I still think it's hilarious that I negotiated a rate to go on that tour and then left the band, and then y'all went on the tour for a rate less than the one that I had negotiated.
yeah,
But so what did you
yeah.
learn? What did you learn from going on tour with a band like Soja? What did you learn about the different levels of success in the music industry? Because I think a lot of people in go-go think there's you're in a go-go band or you're Drake, and that's it. Like there's no other version of success in the music industry. So like being out on with Soulja, like what did you see with them that shows that these guys are full-time musicians selling out stadiums, and
Selling, yes. They
and most
do.
people on this live have probably never heard of them. How does that?
Never heard of them, right? And so and it's mainly because well they tour most of the year. They just gone. We went on tour with them. I think it was like 3 months or something like that. We were just gone.
Yep.
And it was probably the best time of my life. But it also, I'm gonna be honest with you, it also made me question whether I wanted to continue doing music because it was just that difficult.
You
Just
said, was that difficult?
yes,
Why?
yes, yes. Well, for us, it was different for them. So Soldier had a tour bus, and a driver. So they can hang out, party, and everything, and then jump in the bus, go to sleep, and the driver take them to the next place. We had a RV and a trailer, and my ass driving. So
Shocking.
the one who fall asleep, yeah. So and it was just hard because after the gig, it's different from the go-go gigs. The go-go gigs, you finish playing, you pack up, boom, you hit the door, you gone, you got your money already. But these gigs, like, you stuck there until the end of the show. Then you break down at the end of the night, and then you load up, and then of course it's after parties, and sometimes we leaving the club 5 in the morning, going to the next city or the next state, and taking showers in the club and trying to, get dressed in the RV and, cook while you driving. Like it was difficult, man. It was difficult. It was hard, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. I
Right.
questioned it. I
That's
questioned it then, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. Like, it was the best time of my life.
Well, so yeah, so I mean that's the typical experience. Actually, most bands when they go on their first tour have it even worse than that. Not even in an RV with a trailer and a van with all
Yeah.
their shit packed up in them, and they're all crammed on top of each other, and they have to sleep in the van because typically there's no or they sleep on a fan's floor or something like that because there's
Yeah.
no there's no hotel rooms in the budget. And I think people think like that, touring is just this glamorous thing. It's not when you start out, but
No.
you got to get 3 to 4 of them under your belt. And then you start to develop a fan base in those cities. As you move up, things get better, just like Soulja. Soulja didn't start out with a tour bus and a
Right.
driver. They
Right. Yeah.
started
Yeah.
out in their cars, driving themselves and sleeping in their cars and sleeping on
Yeah.
people's floors and shit like that. And that's just the part of the hustle that go-go musicians don't really understand. You know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
part of the grind. But the problem is you don't get you don't get the tour bus with the driver unless you do the first part. You know what I mean? Unless
Yeah.
you're lucky enough to have a big, huge hit. And chances are, most of the people that have big, huge hits without developing a fan base first, they have a big, huge hit and then they fall off a cliff and you never hear from them again. And then they work at FedEx. You know what I'm saying? So,
These guys following, man, they're following, Joe. Like when you talk about like, and I know Northeast Groovers and the go-go bands. We got this group of people. We got these people that are diehard fans and they support us. But like I've never seen shit like this. Like honestly, like I mean these people. We did a show in South Carolina, and some people bought like our merchandise, our Mambo Sauce shirts and everything. And then I see these same people at the we was in South Carolina. I think I see these same people when we did Annapolis, right? And then I think we went up like Pennsylvania or something like that. I see the same people, like, and I'm like, damn, like these motherfuckers work, or do they just tour with the band? Like,
right.
but every time they're buying merchandise and they're having you sign something, and I mean, it just was a different feel, man. It was a different feel, and then they just appreciated the music. They
Right.
just appreciated. They they cheered, they danced, hands in the air. I mean, everything. They just partied, had a great time. And like I said, I wouldn't change it for nothing.
So it's a different thing. Whereas go-go is about the party first, and the music is there to facilitate the party. Where, like, sorry, Larry said, "Dang, I work for FedEx Reds." Damn, my bad. I mean, yeah, but you ain't on a hit record. That's all right. It was really supposed to be a shot at Pep, but it's all good. But my bad, Larry. But there's a difference in what the reason why the audience is there. Like in go-go, it's there to band make me party. Where in what we were doing with Mambo Sauce, it's I'm here to appreciate this
Good music.
concert, and
Yeah,
because the way the music is played, I don't have any choice but to dance and party. But I'm here to appreciate the music and the artists that are making the music, which is a
right,
totally different agenda and a reason for the audience to be there. You know what I
right, right.
mean?
And
So
obviously,
okay,
it's the reason
so
why the audience reacts the way it reacts, and with our homegrown, our good go-go. Ain't nothing like a live go-go show though. Damn, like the CDs and tapes don't do it justice.
well, I want to clear something up too, because I said something in a previous interview, and I don't want it to be misconstrued, and it's based upon what we were just talking about. And I said something about traditional go-go. I think if you take the sound of traditional go-go, even if you were to structure it in a song format,
Hmm.
and try to export it outside of DC, I said that I think the majority of the people that are going to gravitate towards it look like me. I don't think that you're going to find a huge fan base of black hip hop fans in Chicago that are going to react favorably to the traditional sound of go-go. And I think some people might have misinterpreted me saying that we should make go-go for white people. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the way go-go already is, if you take it outside of DC, the people that are going to react to it more favorably are already white people. I'm not suggesting that you should change anything about it in order to cater to white people. I'm not trying to create white people go-go. That's not what I'm trying
Right,
to do
right.
at all. You know what I mean?
No,
So I
but
just want to make sure
I,
I clarified that. But
I
so what
honestly feel like
happened?
it was that's what came to see us though.
Say
That's
it
who was
again.
at our show. If you look at all the pictures, that's all you saw.
Well,
And they,
that's why I'm saying that, is because I've
yeah,
seen the way white people outside of DC react to go-go as
right.
opposed to the way black people outside of DC react to go-go, and it's very different. And so that's why I said that. It's about what it already is, not I'm not trying to create like a white go-go band or like create
Darius has
go-go
had
for white people. I'm saying that's how it
great
already is.
questions.
Sorry, go ahead.
Darius is asking some great questions.
He always has great questions. So okay, so he says, do you think the value of our music gets depreciated because it's so accessible because of how the go-go business is structured? It's weekly.
That's exactly right. That's
Yep.
exactly right. Because if you think about it, think about this. Like, I've even gone to a restaurant, right? I've gone to a restaurant and it was great, and I'm like, dang, this is some good food. And I went back and it was good, and then I went back and it was just okay. And then I'm like, fuck that, I don't want that no more, right? So just imagine you make the music, you make the band and the music a restaurant, right? And you play this stuff weekly. It's 5 shows a week. Then you sell the CD. Then you decide to go put this same shit on a CD and think it's gonna sell, and that's why it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you pimping yourself and you hustling backwards. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But again, it's just how it was. Just how it was. Like, I don't think nobody really said, "Hey, we creating this music and we get ready to try to take it here." It's always worked the way it's worked. And I think everybody just got comfortable with the way it worked and just stayed there. Nobody was trying to do anything different. And again, like I said earlier, the bands that did do something different didn't seem like they were accepted. I don't know, it seemed like when you're from the DC groups that lead DC, man, DC is like, fuck y'all. Like, and then it take a while for you to get back, but you gotta it's like they gotta warm up to you or something. But when for real, when you go out there and have that success, they should be applauding you. They should be backing you and behind you. And I think a lot of those things is the reason why go just don't get the acknowledgement that it needs to get. Because I mean, all this talent, yo. Like, these dudes in these bands can play,
Mhm.
and they're creative. You know what I'm saying? And when you talk about go, you ever wonder why I've seen some of the best musicians in the world not be able to play go-go?
Yep.
You know
100%.
what I'm saying? So it's a thing. It's a thing that you can't just, oh yeah, I can just play that shit. Nah, it's not that, man. You just gotta have that. And that's where the homegrown part goes. And if we could just take, the funny thing about going national or doing like what Red says is doing a cover, I mean making your stuff structured where it can go outside of DC. Go-go bands do it every day, especially the grown and sexy bands. It's funny as hell because they'll take a song off the radio, play it with structure, with percussion, with lyrics, and then the moment you say, "Well, hey, why aren't you doing that shit for yourself?" and they looking at you crazy like you done said some foreign language. But and that's just the concept right there. That's it. That's all you're doing. Instead of playing somebody else's song, make your own and do the same structure, and it works. But
Right. Well, I think also though, this is the other thing. I mean, we lucked out because we had, and this is the reason why I got so frustrated with solo playing all cover songs is because we had people in that band that went on to write for Jennifer Lopez and
right,
Keisha Cole and win Grammy nominations and write hit Billboard songs and
yeah,
stuff like that. And I'm like, well, we got all these people in the band and we're just going to play covers. But
Grammy nominations.
right, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But the thing is that not, and obviously in Mambo Sauce we had a crack songwriting team too, and that was the reason why I put those people in the band.
Yeah,
But not every musician is a songwriter. They're two totally separate practices and two totally separate disciplines. And so the other thing is, the example I use all the time is Whitney Houston never wrote a song in her life. You don't have to be a songwriter to be an artist. You know what I'm saying? But the ego is so strong in go-go. It's, I know how to do this. I can do this better. So whenever anybody in the go-go band writes a song, and it's not a great song, it doesn't even ever occur to them to be, hey, maybe I'm not that good at this. I should get somebody else that's a little bit better at that. You know what I'm saying? But what happened? I asked you what the demise of Northeast Groovers was. What was the demise of Mambo Sauce?
pretty much the same thing as Northeast
Yeah,
egos,
yeah.
man. It kind of came down to egos. I mean, like we came off the tour. Some things happened prior to the tour. Where we had to we for I really don't know the reason, but Twink was originally the female drummer Twink. She was in the band, and right before the tour, Twink and Chris left the band, and so
So
and
you don't know why they didn't say why they left?
I don't remember why Twink left, but I think Chris left because he just was like, well, shit, without Twink, this not gonna work. So he just didn't have faith in it. He ain't had faith in
Oh,
it.
you said without Twink, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, because it's like it's 2 weeks before we go on tour. This band has been playing together for 7 years, almost, right? And so I understood that. So and we didn't have a replacement. We couldn't think of nobody like we couldn't take anybody from the regular go-go bands because how was we gonna convince them in 2 weeks to how serious this was, and we was going to be gone for 2 months or 3 months or something.
Right.
So Olu was a guitar player at the time, and Joy was singing, and so Olu had a little studio setup sort of in his basement, and man, Joy introduced us to Charlie and oh man,
Salem.
Salem, yeah,
Salem.
two Baltimore jazz musicians, right? And so what I did was I worked with these guys like I'm talking about, man. I'm in Olu basement almost like 6-7 hours a day for 2 weeks to get them up to par to where we can do this tour. And the personalities clashed on the tour. The tour was great. Let me just say that. Tour was great, but the personalities clashed on the tour. And
Right.
because I spent so many days and hours with these new guys, the new guys kind of gravitated towards me on tour because they didn't know the rest of the band. They knew me, Olu, and Joy.
Right.
So um, when we got back, um, oh yeah, and we played out Cali, yeah. So no, that was answering my brother question, but yeah. So
Yeah,
when we
Carl.
got back off the tour, man, the band was kind of just divided down the middle. It was like you had me, Joy, and Olu saying we wanted to keep these guys because we went on tour with them and we were supposed to go on the second part of the tour and it was going so well. And then you had the rest of the band saying they wanted the other members back.
You said
And
the rest of the band said they wanted what?
they wanted Twink wanted Twink back. I don't even think Twink wanted to come back. I'm not even sure of that. But, I guess from like I said, I don't know the real story. I just know when we got back, the band was divided 3-3. And um it was just like from there, man, it just went downhill. And that's when because it was like, I guess it was like a covenant was broken, and neither side was trying to bend, neither side was trying to understand the other side, and we ended up splitting. So the side, me, Joy, and Olu, of course, we went, and Salem and Charlie, we had another group that was gigging out Baltimore, and then Black and Pep and Twink, they we would all get together and do like the open mic on Tuesdays, but I don't know, it just seemed like it just was never the same, man. And we were still, so I was playing with both bands. I was still doing Mambo Sauce and I was still playing with Joy's band. It just didn't have a name. It was just Joy. And but what happened then was I was asked to decide. Like, and I don't know, I just didn't feel good about that situation. And eventually, this shit just fell apart. And I hate it to this day because I listened to the CD and I feel like it just was like we got cheated. You know what I'm saying? We had great music. We had all the the right things to make it go. You know, you got the Nationals using the Welcome to DC, the Wizards using Welcome to DC. They played Welcome to DC when they elected President Obama. They played Welcome to DC when they grabbed RG3, you know, and it's being played on the radio every morning, and you know, and the band is just not even fucking together.
Yep.
And so I don't know, man. It's just one of those things, man. That situation probably I think that situation irritates me far more than the Northeast Groover situation. You know, because the Northeast Groover situation, at least we can still, you know, we still get together and go make a bag. You know what I'm saying? But that Mambo Sauce thing, man, I honestly, like, after that, it just didn't seem like it was the same anymore. And for whatever reason, you know, we just kind of, everybody, I don't know, you know, I still talk to some people, you know, every now and then, but you know, we don't really, you know, we don't get together too much. Yeah, Tamiko, yeah, it was the Wizards theme song every
Yeah.
home game,
Yeah.
and all these dudes offered us with some damn some tickets. I ain't gonna go there though, but I ain't even gonna get into that.
I don't know if it is to anybody else, but you seem to be a little quieter. Darius said because NEG hit its peak, Mambo Sauce didn't. Oh, he's saying he thinks that's probably why it irritates you more is because NEG hit its peak. Because if the goal was to be, you know, up there with Rare Essence and Junkyard and all that, then
Yeah, we did that.
then you did it. You know what I'm saying? And the goal of Mambo Sauce, you know, my stated goal was to be the No Doubt of go-go. You know what I'm saying? What No Doubt was to ska music, I wanted for us to be that for go-go music. And yeah, we didn't quite get there. So I did an interview a couple of weeks ago with Omar from Black Alley, and I think that was who was with. I don't know. I've done so many of them now. I'm starting to all blur together. But I spoke. Oh no, I think it was Coop because we were talking. Coop, they used to be with Backyard. We were talking about what happened with him and the split with Backyard. And I just was like, you know, I got into slightly what happened with me with Mambo Sauce, and you know, I try to take my lumps for what I didn't do right, which was. You know, at the time, like how we were talking about earlier, like there was no social media and all that kind of stuff. But at the time with Mambo Sauce, there was no like QuickBooks Online or, you know, anything like real accounting stuff. And because at the time I was the de facto manager, the guitar player, the producer, the graphic designer, the record label, I let the accounting part slip, thinking that if I just had bank statements, you know, that would be enough. And it got to the point where it was where because the deal with Mambo Sauce was nobody was going to take any money out until we released the album, and we hadn't released the album yet. And so, but people, I guess, I don't know what happened exactly. Maybe you can shed some light, but I think maybe people saw that I was like, I didn't have a job at the time because I quit 2 jobs for Mambo Sauce. I quit Coca-Cola first, and then I quit WPGC to focus on Mambo Sauce. And I had gotten a little bit of a very small amount of money from my grandmother. And that's what I was living off of, like barely surviving. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if people in the band thought that like I was surviving off of band money or something. But you know, same thing with Pearl with Northeast. It was like it got to be, what hold on, let me get this question off. Sorry. I didn't realize I had Darius' old question up the whole time. But people started, I don't know if that was the conversation or not, but basically people started saying we want to see where the money is going, and it definitely wasn't going in my pocket. I lost quite a considerable sum of money on Mambo Sauce. But I admit that I didn't have the accounting shit down right. You know what I'm saying? And I think I probably overestimated how much it would cost to hire an accountant or a bookkeeper, and that's something that I should have done. So what else do you think could have? Because again, the whole point of this is to try to, if somebody else has an idea that they want to take go-go and be more than just a local go-go band, like what are some pitfalls to watch out for? I probably also was a little heavy-handed in my management style, I would imagine. So, but that was based out of passion. You know what I'm saying? That was based out of like, you got to do shit. Like, you can't treat this like a regular go-go band and expect to be on Beyonce level. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is just watch one documentary on any successful artist, or even even from a go-go perspective, look at the fact that Northeast Groovers was practicing on cinder blocks in water, in danger of electrocuting themselves for 6-7 hours a day, multiple days a week. And it was hard for me to even get people to show up, to practice in the back of your shed for 2 hours a week without showing up late because they had to stop at the liquor store first. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, when you're putting all your money into this situation and your heart and your passion and wearing the hat of 7 people, 7 positions at a time, and you can't even get somebody to just show up for rehearsal on time, after a while that starts to to wear on your nerves a little bit. And I probably didn't handle that the best way that I could. But what other things do you think could have been done better, like for either on my part or anybody else's part or whatever, that would have alleviated, the demise of the band?
Nothing.
You said nothing?
Nothing, man. Like, realistically, like, man, like, so when you're in a management position, right? Um, you have to have a certain level of you gotta kind of sort of crack that whip, sort of be able to, crack that whip, make decisions that other people won't make, um, and be able to say no, even though your heart says yes, and things like that, right? So, and with that being said, guess what you get considered a being? An asshole. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't say yes when they felt like you should have said yes. So, as far as your management style, like requiring that we be on time, that's not being an asshole. That's
I
like
don't
we
think
should
so.
be
I
on
think
time.
that's
You know what I'm
just
saying?
yeah.
Requiring somebody to practice is not being an ass. You know what I mean? So it's like those things, um, those things cause, trust me, man. Like me dealing with the Northeast groups, I get promoters. Stomp get on the phone with me and he calls me and he's like, "Yo, what you think about this?" And I'm like, I know the band gonna be pissed, but nah. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll be like, all right, well, go ahead, work it out, or whatever the case may be. And Stomp handles all of that stuff, but I'm the bad guy. He'll call me and I'm cool with it because I know it's for the good of the band, and whether the band sees it or not, um, that's just totally up to them. And I honestly feel like, look, man, like I'm doing this for y'all. Like I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting myself on the line for y'all, and of course I enjoy doing it. This is what I love to do, but I don't need to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, and if I'm being called an asshole every now and then yeah, I just be an asshole. And so the only thing I feel like with you, myself, and even back to Pearl, my mom, you know what I mean? Like paperwork, bro. Paperwork. Like we keep doing all these bullshit handshake deals because of friendship, man. And that
Yep.
stuff usually is it takes the control away from you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it allows these guys to be able to say, well, I ain't coming.
Yeah. Well,
See, if
yeah.
you're in the contract, you have to bring your ass to that show. You
Right.
know, so but paperwork and just, you know, I try to I just try to do things where like I try to keep it easy too at the same time, you know. So if band members call me and suggest stuff, things that make sense, and I'm like, cool. You know, if they call me and say, hey man, you know, Kyrie, you dropped the ball with that shit, man. You should have did better with that. Cool, because that's part of my job. Take criticism. First of all, you gotta be able to take that. Um, and but you also gotta be certain level of an asshole. And a lot of times when I make decisions, man, I hate doing it. Hate doing it, man. But it's like, oh, I gotta say no. If I'm looking at the total picture, and you have to be able to do that. So as a manager, I think somebody inboxed me up and coming band. I can't think of the name right now because I didn't get to read the whole thing, but he was asking me what would I, you know, what could I tell him, you know, as far as managing his band and things of that nature. And it's like, I'm like, man, first of all, like you're gonna have you're not gonna be liked by. It's almost like your kids, man. You make decisions for your kids, and your kids be like, "Oh, yeah, Dad don't know what he talking about. Dad always doing this and always doing that." But at the end of the day, you only doing what you know is right for them. But they also have free will where they can make their own decision. And so when it came to you, you know, again, just like most situations, I was playing mediator between the two sides,
Yeah.
and um, everybody was like, "Oh, you always take a red side." But I'm always one of those people. I don't like to keep talking about the problem. I want to fix the shit and move on. Like let's figure out a way to do it the right way. If we doing it wrong, let's do it the right way next time. You know, but to keep going back to why shit went wrong and why this went wrong and why this is wrong and why that's wrong, like I don't have time for that. I just want to move forward. I'm all about moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that yeah. I mean, I wasn't. So just to clarify, I wasn't asking you to like get into like what I could have done better or anything like that. It wasn't really about me. It was just about what could have been done overall. Like, and you know, for other people's education, what could have been like from the band side, from the management side, whatever. Like what?
From the
It,
band side, from the band side, we could have played our fucking music, created because we weren't managers. We weren't, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where a lot of bands make mistakes. Like everybody think they know how to run a band. Everybody think, you know, everybody think they're good at everything. And I think some of the most successful bands and groups in any business, man, is just the people that you let do what they best at. Even in relationships, you do what you best at, she do what she best at, and then we get this together and we work it out and it works. If you're trying to make somebody be something they're not, like, so you notice, like, I don't have Smoke do interviews. Smoke don't like no damn interviews. So
right,
I don't force it on them. I get the interviews to the people that want to do interviews. Everybody don't like sitting down making CDs and traveling and selling tickets and all that. So the people that sell the tickets for us are the people that's good at selling the tickets. I know damn well I ain't dropping a ticket off nowhere. I already know. So don't even they be like, you want 20 tickets? No, I don't want 20 tickets because I don't feel like dropping them off.
right,
That's not me.
right.
So you put people in a position where they can succeed.
Yeah,
So, and if you do that from within your band and not make everybody try to be this and everybody try to be that, and I want to do this, and like just play your role.
right,
I'm the bass player, and that's what I. As much as you used to always tell me, man, like Kyrie, like I mean, damn, like you know, uh, you Kyrie though, you can't tell me this, and I'll be like, you're Rez. It's your band. I'm a fucking bass player. That's all I wanted to be.
right.
Bass player. I don't want to be. I didn't want to be management. I didn't want to be the owner. I never told anybody I own Mambo Sauce. I played the bass, and I
Mhm.
created music. It's all the fuck I wanted to do.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And if a lot of people take that route instead of sticking their nose in stuff that they're not good at, like I said, everybody's not a promoter. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not a, like you said, everybody's not a writer. You know, like when somebody asks me to do something in the studio or something, I don't go in there like, yeah, you know, she'll rearrange this, do this. I create something on that shit. I play the bass and
Yeah.
I leave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if we creating in the studio, like I'm not sitting in there faking like I'm some super producer. I play the bass. And if I hear something because I know music, I'm gonna say something. But for the most part, I play the bass guitar. I play my part. I'm
Right.
not there to sing. I ain't writing no lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Like I play the bass guitar. And so many people get hooked up into, yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, we need to throw our own show. Yeah, we could throw our own show, but do we want to take all of the risks?
Well, so riffing off that interview, you know, you put people in a place to do interviews who want to do interviews. Let's segue that a little bit to how do you feel about this documentary that just came out and played on Sunday? There's been a lot of chatter about the fact that Northeast Groovers was mentioned minimally, and a little bit of chatter about the fact that Mambo Sauce wasn't mentioned at all. How do you feel about those situations, and what's the story behind that?
Calling stupid. Go play your bass. 32, 32 just never let me lay that shit down either. Anyway, so um as far like I said, I haven't seen the doc, but if I had to base it on the million phone calls and text messages and the rants and all of that stuff, I would say, okay, first of all, I personally, no one reached out to me.
Mhm.
I would have gladly did it without hesitation because I always felt like, you know, we're never really, like I said before, we're never really represented well. And a lot of times it's because maybe because they're reaching out to other people, or they're not reaching, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's happening, but I didn't get a call.
Right.
Now, Hug did reach out to me about a week ago, saying that he talked to someone and he wanted a picture for this documentary. And I was like, of course, like I said, we don't have no damn band picture. So I put this collage together and tried to send that. You know, it was last minute, of course. But even that, they were like, yeah, let's get this picture together to represent Northeast. And my first question, because I'm just a common sense thinking, and you know, I use common sense. I said, well, if I can say this, how the fuck does a picture represent Northeast Grooves?
Right.
That's what I asked. And the thing to me was, well, I don't know, but they want a picture. I said, well, cool. I tried to send a picture. They didn't. They wanted a real picture. I was like, I don't have a real picture. So then I get a call from Rapper hit me. Rapper hit me like maybe 6 days before it was supposed to come out. Said somebody reached out to him and he was gonna give her my number and they was gonna call me and send a picture. I said, only picture I got is the collage I put on Instagram. Right? Rapper was like, all right, send it to me. If that's good, then they'll use that. And if not, they'll call you and get some information. Still, nobody ever reached out to talk to me. So I don't know if they reached out to talk to Rapper. I can't speak to that because I don't know. I don't know if they reached out to talk to Hug because I don't know. But I didn't receive a call at all to
Well,
talk
so let
about.
me ask you a question about that. Is that is that a failure on the part of the band to have somewhere where it clearly states for press inquiries, contact this person? You know what I'm saying?
It
Like
is.
if you look at a national artist, or you know, that like if somebody wants to get in touch with Beyonce to have
They know
her
how to.
included in a documentary, you are there's going to be a very clear way for that, and it may not be publicly available, but there's
Right.
going to be a way that is understood by industry practices that this is the person that you contact. There's going to be the publicist about how to get in touch with Beyonce to be in this documentary.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's like,
So I'm not saying this to bash of course I'm fucking from Northeast Groovers. I'm not trying to bash Northeast Groovers, but I'm just going off of, because there's a lot of people like, oh, that's fucked up, like as if like it was some total slight against Northeast Groovers. And the story that Rapper told on his live was Blackwell had reached out to him like about 4 months ago about the situation, and he went back and forth about I'm not the person that is on that does interviews, and I don't do this, you know, like I'm not going to chase people down, you know, you know how Rapper is. I mean, it's this personality. He's a DC dude that's not going to chase somebody down for something. You know what I mean? Which I get it. Like this, I mean, he's an artist. Like he shouldn't. He's not the business dude. He shouldn't be the one, you know, that is being reached out to for that. But the and I don't know. I mean, it sounds like he didn't have them tell them to reach out to you until fairly recently, if I understand correctly. If I'm maybe I understand that. With that,
like probably last weekend or something like that.
Like last weekend, right? We're talking about a show that's on national television.
Yeah.
On a major network.
Yeah.
This is not a YouTube show. This is not a go-go. Like they don't work on a week's notice. You know what I'm saying? And furthermore, no serious public. I'm telling you this. I run a website called GOGOTIX.co that is about go-go. I'm not posting a collage picture. I don't care who it is.
Right.
Because my objective is to put the best face on go-go that can be possibly put on it, because my objective is for go-go to be in fucking Australia. And in order for that to happen, we have to step our game up in terms of the way we present ourselves. And so I don't want somebody in Australia to look at GOGOTIX.co, which is supposed to be the place where you find out about go-go, and see some shitty collage picture. So I'm not going to do that. Then, you know, damn well TV One ain't doing it.
Right. So and I understand that. But again, like I said, just like you said, how difficult it is to get to practice, dog. Like I've driven 12 hours and beat niggas to practice.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh, I'm not blaming you. Don't get me wrong.
But no. I'm just saying, because you remember I mentioned like trying to get a band. I feel like we need, you know, band pictures. We need promo, right? But at the same time, man, I get a lot of stuff where people be hitting me on Messenger like, hey, you know, I reached out to this person, I reached out to that person, yada, yada, you know, and trying to get in touch with the band. So I totally agree with you. It needs to be something that says, hey, this is the person that you contact for this, you know, and that person needs to be ready, available, and able to communicate with the rest of the people that's necessary to take care of those situations. So, but the flip side to that is in 5 months. You know what I'm saying? 5 months, right? You're telling me my number been the same for 30 years.
Yeah.
Exact same number. I've never changed it, right? Nobody said, all right, well, you know what? We hitting a dead end with that route. Give him Khari number. Why wouldn't you give him my number anyway? I'm the owner.
Right.
I'm the one that's gonna get you to them.
So I'm not pointing the finger or placing blame on anyone, but I guess
we part of the problem though. We are. We're part of the problem. I definitely agree with that because
I'm just saying that a lot of people I feel like are placing the blame squarely on the shoulders of the producers of the documentary, who are not from DC, don't know go-go, like are just trying to tell the best story that they can and pull things together. And I know because I talked to Tone P, who's the guy that produced the music for it and was in it, that he said he got roped into an issue that his music was fine. Like he had the paperwork on his joint, but he was like up until the last minute some of the band's music that was involved, like they didn't have the rights, they didn't have the clearances, they didn't have the licenses, and so they're pulling him into it, trying to get it together. So all I'm saying is that I feel my personal opinion on the documentary is it was the best representation that there has been of go-go ever, in my opinion. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. Were there other people that they should have talked to? Probably so. However, I'm just saying that as an industry, and I'm just using this example or using this instance as an example, as an industry on the whole, we take the attitude that we are going to be the least professional that we possibly can and expect people in a professional setting to bring themselves down to our level to interface with us and tell our story in the way that we want it to be told, as opposed to saying we are either going to use our own resources that we have, because as we discussed earlier, there is money that is generated from this business, and we are going to tell the story in the way that we want it to be told, or we are going to, at the very least, spend a smaller amount of money to level our professionalism up to where they are, so that if they're going to tell the story, at least we're going to make it easy for them to tell it in the best way possible. And so that's sort of the, you know, I'm not saying that Rapper did anything wrong. I'm not saying you did anything wrong. I'm not saying Hug or Blackwell or anybody did anything wrong necessarily. I'm just saying because we don't already have the systems in place that are in place
for every other genre.
If somebody wants to get Jacob from Soulja in an interview, there's no question where they have to go to get it done. They don't have to call people to find out to get Kyrie's number. You see what I'm saying?
So and they know where to find Elliot.
Say it again.
They go to Elliot and they know where to find him.
Right, because Elliot is publicly listed in the professional places where managers of artists are professionally listed. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that we do a lot of complaining about why our music isn't treated, or why our specific band or our specific, like, I mean, it's not just Northeast. There's a billion people in every band complaining about why didn't my band get, you know, I'm upset that they didn't mention Mambo Sauce to a certain extent. However, I also understand that aside from Black Alley, nobody took Mambo Sauce's formula and ran with it. Black Alley won't even admit it. You know what I'm saying? But they at least a portion of what Mambo Sauce was doing and ran with it, because there wasn't any small bands wearing cool sneakers and doing fully formatted songs with guitars before Mambo Sauce. I mean, EU to a certain extent, but they still were like a 14-piece funk band. Mambo Sauce can never be mistaken for a funk band. So, you know, that is what it is. I got Cam from Black Alley coming up next week. But so I guess what I'm saying is that even though to me Mambo Sauce had an impact, obviously to the rest of Go-Go, a band like TCB had a much bigger impact than Mambo Sauce did, even though they didn't have the hit songs that we had, because there's a billion other bounce beat bands. There aren't a billion other bands that sound like Mambo Sauce. So I understand, even though I feel a certain kind of way, I understand, and I feel like we need to do a better job of looking objectively at what it is that we're bringing to the table and what our impact really is in the grand scheme of things before we start running off at the mouth about how pissed off we are about we didn't get represented the way that we wanted to get represented. You know what I'm saying?
And again, like I said, I totally agree. You know, because but that's always the problem. Is that's always been go-go business. You know what I'm saying? Like I've heard people call it, you know, business or whatever you want to call it, but it's always been handshake, talk, you know, hey, chop it up, friendship, yada yada yada, you know, and yeah, like I can't even argue that point. Like you said nothing wrong. It's like because no websites, no band pictures, no promo, nothing. But you say, yeah, we changed the game. Where is it? I should have been able to look on the website and say, all right, this is 30 years of Northeast Groover stuff and performances and videos and yada yada, and this is who the contact person. It should have a picture on it. It should have, website. It should have music. At the
I guess
same time,
somebody built the Northeast Groovers website a few years ago. I
man,
don't know who that was.
I don't even know who manages the page, bro.
You say you what?
I don't even know who manages that page. I've seen it. I think it might be Stomp. I don't know.
I turned it over a very long time ago. I created it, but I turned it over a very long time ago because I was asked to. So I did, and I don't know what's going on with it now.
Oh, they funny as shit. But anyway, yeah. So
yeah, well, I'm not even going to respond to that because that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's funny. But look, So here's the thing though. Like, so I haven't seen it. I was planning on looking at it because it's supposed to come on. I think it's supposed to come on again tonight. So I was planning on looking at it. But the thing is, man, like for everybody in the go-go industry to get represented well, like that shit would have to be a mini series, man. Like we've been on this call for almost 2 hours, and we've barely touched either like in full Northeast Groovers or Mambo Sauce. So to tell that Northeast Groovers, like I said, you had to do like some type of like how New Edition did, like you know what I'm saying. Instead of without the actors though, it just had to be us because we can't afford actors, And I don't know nobody handsome enough to play me anyway. You know what I'm saying? So we can't.
People not even handsome enough to play me. Is that what you said?
I said me.
We got DJ K Slade. That's who's playing you. We already got.
Shit. I don't know. Hey, look, I might be a little bit smaller than K Slade now. I done lost like 50 pounds on this quarantine diet. So
Tamiko just reminded me and everybody, it's back on tonight at 9:00. So if you got TV One, you can watch it tonight at 9.
Yeah, I was planning on watching it tonight because I mean, again, like I said, but that's why you haven't heard me. I think the only comment, because I haven't seen it, the only comment I had was, I noticed that when they mentioned, someone was mentioning that they talked about the women in go-go, and then you talked about Ms. Mac, and then you talked about, I forgot the other lady's name, but she came after Pearl, and so Pearl was a result of Ms. Mac, and this lady was a result of Pearl, but you skipped it. But again, how could they possibly know if they ain't talking to nobody? So, so I get it. It's they laughing. K Slade, go with that shit.
Oh yeah, I like that better. I said Michael Rappaport. He said Ron Howard can play me. I like that. Ron Howard's better. Open.
Ron Howard. He a little older than you now, though. You need a young youth. That'll be later.
What'd you say?
I said they talking about Reds when he's 60 and shit.
Ron Howard. Yeah, I guess Ron is a little too old to play me, but yeah, I mean, I think just the overall our overarching theme is we got to do better and stop complaining all the time about why somebody else isn't doing better for us. It's not TV One's job necessarily. I mean, it is their job to do the research, but they shouldn't have to do that much fucking research.
Track you down. Yeah.
They shouldn't have to hire a private investigator to find out something about it. Like that's just ridiculous, So yeah, we just got to do better, man. And it's not even that hard. It's not hard anymore. Like I can build a website in 2 hours. Like it's not that difficult. You know what I'm saying? You don't even really need to do anything anymore. You just put up a page with a picture. Ideally you would have a picture, and then
we gotta get the picture part down.
For information, contact Khari Pratt or whatever, whatever you want. It's really not that difficult. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just kind of like we just always like Larry said he'll play you.
All
Uh,
right, cuz.
we just, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't want to just keep regurgitating the same thing, but it really is an important point. Like we want to do go-go business and then wonder why we don't get Beyonce looks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way.
And it's all the way, man. It's I mean, it just needs to be revamped all the way around. Like like I said, just the way we, even with handling, I don't know, they make it. I think the band members, I think the band themselves make it more difficult than anything else. You know
Significantly.
what I'm saying? Because it's like, along with the venues who treat you like, yeah, my venue gonna be all right without it, with or without you. They I can give a damn who you are. Um, the promoters, of course, they're taking all of the risks, but they don't make sure everything is taken care of either. Like, like making sure you have what you need to to do your job. As far as like, having an area, like it ain't gonna kill you to take a fucking table, just one of those sections that you planning on selling, and give it to the band, because these are the people that ultimately bring you the money for that venue. You know what I'm saying? They bring the people in that venue, because otherwise it's gonna be just your ass in that venue. So it's a lack of respect between the entities. It's a lack of respect with the venue, the promoters, and the band. And then you take the band aspect of it, and it's a lack of respect in the band for,
Each other.
for each other, for time management, you know. And that's one thing. Like, one thing for me, man, like time, Joe. Like my time, I feel like, in my older age, my time is valuable, man. Like I don't have time to just sit around and play and do stuff unnecessarily. So it irks me when somebody wastes my time, and I definitely feel like it's a waste of time when I fly up or drive 12 hours and rush so I can be on time, and then I get to practice and there's two people there and shit, and
Yeah, and
lose,
somebody that lives 5 minutes away is late. Yeah.
or don't show.
Show it all.
And act and like that's not money. Like, we paying for this practice spot. That's time, you know what I'm saying, along with finances being spent, and people just don't value that stuff. They just take whatever, over what's going on right here and there. And then when you get on that stage and shit don't go perfect, everybody looking around.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the band thing, as a manager, owner, whatever, like, man, you put a lot of pressure on that person to do so much right. But soon as I say, hey, all right, well, we need a band picture, or we need to do this, like, I gotta try to do the band picture at the show and shit, because that's the only time I got everybody together. Like, that's stupid. So are we doing a professional picture, or are we doing a go-go picture?
Right.
If we doing a go-go picture, I got plenty of them motherfuckers in my photo album that I could have sent somebody. We need a professional picture. So things like that, man. It's we just gotta understand. Like, look, man, I'm not trying to act like I'm the boss or I'm running shit, man. We supposed to be like brothers, and this goes for any band, man. Y'all supposed to be like a family, man, and y'all supposed to be able to make money together, and y'all supposed to respect each other as individuals and men. And it's just a fucking lack of respect for each other, man. And that's why stuff don't get done.
Well, do you
Everybody,
think, I feel like the lack of respect across all entities within GoGo come from one source, which we've already sort of touched on, which is ego.
yeah,
I feel like everybody thinks that they are the main contributor to the success of whatever it is that they're doing.
you
Like,
need all
the
of it.
leader thinks that everybody's there for them. The band thinks that everybody's there for them. The lead rapper thinks that everybody's there for them. The two mic thinks everybody's there for them. The drummer, the conga player, everybody thinks everybody is there for them. I feel like it's really like, where does that come from? Like, where, I mean, because that's what was that, did that, is that just like, oh, I mean, I would imagine it wasn't there when the band started, when Northeast Groovers started. It definitely wasn't there when Mambo Sauce started. Why is it that a little bit of fame just totally like pulls people out, or I wouldn't even say pulls people out of character. It reveals their true character. So why does that, where do you think that come from? Why is this so prevalent in our area specifically?
I mean, I can't even really say it's only in our area.
No, it's not only, but it's really a lot more prevalent. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm here in LA where the real motherfuckers are. You know what I'm saying? Where the real songwriters, the real producers, the real people that are doing shit are. And I don't get there's not anywhere close to the level of puffing the chest out and walking around like you're the shit like there is in DC. And these motherfuckers are making millions of dollars and driving Maseratis and shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, go dudes live with their mom.
Man, so okay. It's honestly, I can't really speak to the arrogance, or some one person thinking they know more than the other person. Some people look at themselves and look at their success individually as being, well, I'm more successful than you, or I've done more in this business than you, and I know more, or I did this for this person, and it boils down to everybody from the promoter to the venue to the band is needed. Like, one don't succeed without the other. If you don't have clubs to play in, then guess what you're doing? You're not performing. If you don't have somebody promoting and doing that, then the promoter, you don't have nobody there. And if the band is not where they're supposed to be, well, guess what? Then you have no artist. So one don't weigh more than the other. And people individually need to understand that. As far as the egos go in the bands, man, like, it's just, I don't know. It seems like it's just human nature. Like, even when I looked at the New Edition thing, like Bobby Brown, right? Bobby Brown was wild, and he just thought he was like, fuck what they talking about. You know what I mean? And I think every band in the world has that person that's just like, yeah,
Eddie Kane.
I know everything. Eddie, yeah, you know what I mean? I know everything, and y'all need to listen to me. And it's torn some of the it tore some of the biggest artists, biggest groups apart. So I don't feel like,
and I guess maybe it's because the bands are bigger, but I can speak for some of the bands that I've been in. It's not like one person. It's like 30% of the band or 40% of the band. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't get it. Like, but it's one thing, I guess it's one thing for Bobby Brown to like, well, first of all, I don't remember if that was before or after the drugs started. I didn't get a chance to see the New Edition one. But I think that, I'm serious though. Like, that has a lot to do with it, I think.
Yeah.
But also, like, the New Edition level fame is totally different than Northeast Groovers level fame or Mambo Sauce level fame.
But it doesn't change the mentality.
But I at least sort of understand it a little bit more at that level. I'm just like, for
the average go-go artist in DC that's doing as well as we were at that level in DC. So, and even though you like, it's New Edition, then way down is Northeast Groovers, but in DC, Northeast Groovers was this. And so, Man, everybody's saying drugs. Like, I don't. Nah, look, we're not even going to say dudes is on drugs, man. Like, the whole go-go industry not on drugs, man. We drink a little bit, but
Right.
it's just ego, man. It's just ego, man. Like, people people sometimes feel like, hey, I can do better. I can do better than what you're doing. And unless you let them try and fall on their damn face or succeed, because sometimes they might, then you're always gonna have that person in the band or saying, I can do better than what you're doing, you know? And then but what group is gonna let that person try at the expense of failing and dragging the name through the mud? So with that being said, you'll always have that person that never got to try, that always felt like he could be better than you are at what you're doing.
Well,
And
based upon our experience, our experiences, has any one person been that was a part of Northeast Groovers or Mambo Sauce been bigger on their own than either Northeast Groovers or Mambo Sauce?
not that I know of, no.
Gotcha.
But that's coming from me, and I'm just a straight shooter. If you ask one of these motherfuckers, they'll say, "Hell yeah, yeah, man, I'm bigger than you." Know what I'm saying? Like they, because they're looking at what they've done in their own personal experiences, and I get it. And you know, certain accolades for certain people mean whole weight, and you can't tell them that what they've accomplished don't hold weight in their life.
No, I feel that I'm not
And
knocking that at all. I'm
no, I'm
just
just
saying.
saying, if you were to ask some other people in the band, then they probably would say, "Well, yeah, man, yeah, I'm bigger than that. I'm bigger than Northeast. Yeah, I did better without Northeast, or I did better doing my own little thing, or I left the business completely and did better." But for real, at the end of the day, half of us still got jobs. Some due to this situation, like this situation, this Corona thing, right? Look what this did. Look what this did. And this is what we've been scared of. Not this particular virus, but this particular situation. This is what we've been trying to get people, this go-go industry, prepared for all these years. And I guarantee you, right now during this corona and people in the house and you can't perform and you're not making your money and you don't have a job and you're not eating, guess what? I can guarantee you the only thing they're not thinking about reinventing themselves. They're not thinking about going a different direction. They're not thinking about getting in the studio and doing nothing. They're thinking about, I want to start playing again.
You said I want to what?
I want to start playing again. I want to do some shows in DC again. And you should be like, damn, like, what if this never goes back to normal? Then what? What are you gonna do? You can't you can't you can't tell me it's not fucking possible to social distance in a club. And what promoter is gonna hire you in a club that they can only quote unquote have half capacity?
Yep.
So you have to be thinking about another alternative other than performing day in and day out. But in the music industry, I'm not saying go get a job. I'm saying if you want to continue to do music, then it's time to reinvent yourself. And the only way go-go can reinvent itself is, of course, I'm not knocking the live stream thing, because that might be a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you do it right, you can't just be having some half-ass sound and can't hear this. You got to do it right. But you have to be looking at, what if it doesn't go back to the packed out club. You know, how you gonna survive? What are we gonna? What's our next step?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're not thinking about that, then yeah, you're gonna be the next Earl's video store when Blockbuster came along. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers went from doing VHS tapes to fixing VCRs, and now they gone. Period. And
Yeah.
you're not gonna make it through this next phase. So
For those of you under 60 years old that don't know what he's talking about, Arrows was
video store
before Blockbuster.
selling VHS tapes, and then Blockbuster came in and wiped their ass out, and they started repaying VCRs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and now they gone completely.
Yep.
So, and you don't want to be that. You got to be able to move to the next phase, man. That's how some of the big bands did it. That's why you still have the REs and the backyards and the junkyards that's able to say, all right, well, even through the bounce beat phase, like we still here. You know what I mean? Like we managed to change members and do this, like and even Northeast Groovers, we still kicking. You know what I mean? Like so. You had to be able to move to that next phase, man. Because like I said, Netflix killed. Yeah, Netflix did kill Blockbusters. Redbox killed Blockbuster. Yeah, Redbox killed
Or
Blockbuster.
Netflix. Yeah.
Netflix killed Redbox. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's an important point though, because that's everything. Something is somebody's gonna innovate and kill everything, and that lifespan is significantly faster now. Even in music, remember it used to be an artist would put out a song or an album every 2-3 years, maybe. Now artists are putting out a new song every day sometimes.
Yeah.
Or every week at least. You know what I mean? So I want to get to this question, and I was trying to find somebody asked a question earlier. Was the Northeast Brewer Show on July 4th still happening at City Winery? And I booked that show, and I'm going to say that I would imagine that it is probably not. I was supposed to get a phone call yesterday based on the whatever the mayor was going to say, but about opening up. But I don't think that's going to happen. Unfortunately, if they are able to open up, they're going to be, just like you said, it's going to be like 50 people or something, and there's no way that it's going to work. So I don't have a definitive answer on that yet, but my guess is probably no. But once I have a definitive answer, of course I'll pass it along to you and the stop, and then you guys can push it out to. You can put it on the website so everybody will know. You didn't catch the joke, Khari. Can you hear me, Khari?
Yeah, I heard your ass, man. I don't have no website to put it on.
You just ignoring me. All right. So this is from Chris again at Create DC. What are your? He spelled your name wrong, but that's okay. What is your plan moving forward aside from the go-go scene?
Well, I haven't really been doing anything. I haven't really been doing anything outside of lately outside of go-go music. So prior to the virus, I was doing little gigs every now and then with Go-Go All Stars when they come down here to Atlanta, and of course I'm still doing the Northeast Groovers thing. Northeast Groovers, we do have a album that's completed. We haven't put out yet.
Is this going to be like hood related too? Is this going to be like hood related to the album that Backyard has been supposed to put out for like the last 20 years and it never comes out?
Nah. Okay. It's coming out. It's coming out. We got a few good things coming down the pike. I don't want to get too much away, but as far as like even like the documentary, you know what I'm saying? Like the first thing I said when I was seeing all the rants and all the things like that, I was like, well, if we can't get somebody else to tell a story, why don't we just do it our damn self?
Absolutely. That's the way to look at it.
And so that's what Michelle Blackwell, when she called me, that's what we talked about.
Don't leave me out of the documentary, Khari. Don't try to pretend like there wasn't a white guy in Northeast Groovers, because I know, man.
Yeah, so moving forward, I'm just, I'm still, like I said, I'm still doing the Northeast thing. I've gotten on, getting in the studio with a lot of different people, whenever they give me a call. So other than that, as far as the music business goes, I'm I'm chilling as far as that goes. We're gonna handle the business that we need to handle to get Northeast where it needs to be, and do things the right way, like I keep saying, mm, without going too much into detail. But outside of the go-go industry, I pretty much do whatever somebody call and hire me to do. Like I'm not playing with an R&B band and all of that stuff. Like I got a lot, I do a lot of stuff. Like I travel with my job, doing the IT stuff. Like so, I'm not home a lot, So um,
Yeah, let me remind everybody that IT is your main profession right now, and you couldn't figure out how to get the line back on.
nah, it wasn't that I couldn't figure out. The damn computer was just updating. When I cut it back on, it was updating. I was like, damn, I gotta let it update. Can't stop it. Can't
Oh,
stop
Felix just jumped on. Felix, you're a little late, man. We're 2.5 hours in.
it. Yeah, man, we've been. Oh,
Chief.
Pearl Boys. Hey, don't make me go get the picture. I'm gonna put the picture on the camera, Larry. Let everybody see you and Lamar Sellers in y'all shorts and shirts that say Pearl Boys.
Darius had another question. What do you think is the most cranking year for NEG?
Damn.
Mhm.
I don't know, cause I, if you'd have asked me that a while ago, I'd probably have been like 94, 93, 94, somewhere around there. But then I just was listening to some of these 99 and 2000 ones that I didn't think were good. And they it's like one of the things you go back and listen to and be like, damn, we was doing that. But yeah, I probably would have said like 94, around 94, 95, something like
Nah, man, you could have stayed with the 2000 shit.
that. The 98, 99, 2000. Yeah,
Darius,
no, we
Darius
got some
always
we got
messes
some
me up
up there.
because he's like when I did the full on Lenny Kravitz rock joint on "I Want to Get Away." That was his favorite part, and that just makes me feel like I actually made a contribution to the band.
He said if dude be tripping. What dude?
I don't know.
Bring Kirk. Oh no, they must have misunderstood. Nah.
Uh,
So
one
I
more
guess
question, real quick, from Michael Johnson. He wants to know. How you keep finding boxes of Northeast Groovers tapes in your garage every year. Like, how big is your fucking garage, bro?
nah, it's like I got them they under the steps, man. I got them in these big crates and I just, every now and then I go down there, pull a couple of crates out, or I get to doing some cleaning and be like, damn, I got all these tapes. So finally, I've been getting them converted, everything going on a hard drive. So I'm gonna have them. And for the record, I don't know, I don't remember who asked that question, but I never said anyone in particular in my band be tripping. When I
Oh,
say when I say, it's hard to get a picture together, I'm speaking of the whole group because it's hard to get the group together.
it's
You
like
know what I'm saying?
herding cats. Yeah.
Yeah. So like nah, like everybody in this band is that everybody in this band right now is needed in this band for this band to be successful. I'm saying
Right.
like I don't want to move forward without the people that I got. So otherwise, because it's not Northeast Grooves, you know what I mean? Like so, and I wish we could have everybody, but unfortunately, we just can't have everybody.
Right.
So we got the members that we have, and we good with that. Like you know, I think now over the last couple of years, the band members have matured, man. Like they've matured. Like I'm not getting the crazy phone calls, or I'm not hearing all the he say she say stuff, all the talking about. I don't hear it. So, um, and as long as I can get these guys to get to the shows and everybody seem to be happy, then I don't feel like we got no problems in the band. Like, you know, we did early on, you know, when we first got back, and maybe even like I say up to like 2, 3, maybe 3 years ago, it was still problems in the band. But like right now, like, you know, I don't I don't get those phone calls. We just get together and we do our show. Now, granted, when it comes to practice and pictures and all that, that's a whole nother story. But um,
Yeah, because even I would get angry phone calls too, and I don't get any more. So I guess
yeah,
things
yeah,
must
yeah.
have
So
must have,
they,
must have
yeah, so
calmed down
things
a
are,
little bit.
yeah, they calm down, and I think you know the band like you know what I mean. Even like when Rapper called me, and he was like, "Look, man, like I'm gonna give her your number because you need to talk about it. This is your stuff. You own this. You know what I'm saying?" So, and I don't think that call would have happened a couple of years ago. So, um, even when Hug called me, Hug was like, "Look, man, we need to do this. We need to handle business like this, yada yada yada." Like, and it wasn't an angry call, you know, like you know, Hug
Wait,
be
Hug
mad,
called you
Hug
and
be
it wasn't
mad,
angry?
Hug be mad at your ass. He be mad. So,
Wow,
um, yeah, so you know, I think people just maturing in general in the band and respecting, you know, like I've had conversations with Dig like, well, I just reached out to you because I heard XYZ and I wanted to talk to you about it, make sure it was true or not. You
right,
know, are we handling this and doing this, yada yada, you know, without going into detail. And he was like, all right, cool. Let me know what we're doing, and I'm there. Like, you know, so and
nice.
again, like I said, I don't think I would have got that call a couple of years ago. So um all of the stuff, I mean, leading up to this point, leading up to even like I said, you know, the last time the band split up, ever since we've been back to back together the last 2 years, like shit's cool.
That's what's up. Lorenzo wanted to know if you have new material, but yeah, you said yes. You got a new album
Yeah,
almost done. So yeah, so that should be coming out soon. Is there a anticipated release date or?
nah, nah.
Gotcha. All right.
Uh,
So
it's been a
this
little
will be, this
difficult
will be the
because
Northeast Groovers version of Hood Related to everybody. This album that because Hug's been posting about it for like 3 years now too. So it's gonna be like, what was the last album? On Fire was On Fire the last one. So it's
yeah,
gonna be On Fire Part Two,
1999, so we haven't put
coming in 2037.
we like the Redskins Super Bowls, man. We ain't seen one in a while, so we're gonna go ahead and put one out.
All
We're gonna
right,
put
that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, listen, man, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know this is probably a little shorter than one of our normal phone calls, but yeah, Dr. Dre Detox, Darius said, yeah, it's exactly that. This is probably a
man.
little shorter than one of our normal phone calls. However, you have officially broken the record of the longest go-go talks in history. So Coop's was, I think, 2 hours and 30 minutes. Yours is 2 hours and 37 minutes. But I guess
Coop. I got you, Coop. It's like, no.
But nah, man, I appreciate you, man, and I look for. I'll let you guys know about the. I mean, obviously, July 4th is right around the corner. The venue's been shut down for a long time. They were supposed to get, notification yesterday from the mayor about what's happening with DC, but I know that the cases are going back up again all over the country. So my guess is probably no, but I'll let you know for 100% as soon as I know. Yeah, man, thanks everybody so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe down below and click the little bell icon. Khari, thanks so much. Appreciate you coming through. I'm sure we'll talk soon offline. And
Absolutely.
all right, have a good one, man. Go shovel some dirt or something.
Yeah.
Tim Allen handyman, dude. Thanks, D'Amico.
Hey.
All
Yeah.
right, man. I'll talk to you later. I appreciate it, bro.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
Have a good one. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thank you for everybody that's been tuning in to all of these. I had a really good one last week with Yadia, who's the founder of Mochella, and with Chris Richards from the Washington Post. Tomorrow we have Cy Smith, who is she used to sing for background singer for Whitney Houston, background singer on American Idol, but she's originally from DC. I believe she went to Duke Ellington. She definitely went to Howard. And she, used to play in the go-go band. She used to do go-go's actually in LA that Prince used to attend. She did one about 2 years ago or so, I think, that my wife and I went to, where she had the band with some of the guys from the Jacksons and the keyboard player from Prince. So it was a killer show. I posted some a couple of years ago when we went to it. Also with Shawnee Baby, they used to play drums for Precise and Pleasure. She's out here as well. So we got Ty Smith coming up tomorrow, so make sure you tune in for that. On Friday, we got my man Crazy Legs, dance icon and king of Beat Your Feet. You've seen him on So You Think You Can Dance or America's Next Best Dance Crew. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but they've been on one of those, and he's doing a lot of good things. They're teaching classes in Singapore, Mexico City, all over the place. That one of their biggest videos they did was teaching Beat Your Feet to a bunch of people in Poland, and Miracles from Mambo Sauce was the song that they used. So make sure you check that out. We'll talk to him about how the dance culture is impacting the go-go culture as well on Friday. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. You can so please subscribe to youtube.com/GOGOTIX. You can just click the button below, and the little bell icon. If you click that, it will remind you when the next episodes are coming up. You can also go to gogotix.co, which is right up here. Typically, there will be show listings on there for all the go-go shows that are coming on. But right now, it's just for these interviews because that's all that's happening. And you can set reminders there to watch any upcoming episodes that you want to see. So again, thank you guys very much for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Appreciate it.